And we're live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan. You're watching ABL Live. I thank you all for being here. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me, live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. As you come into the stream, please give the video a thumbs up, share it, do all that good stuff for me. That'll help me out tremendously. It's a lot going on in the world of news today. A lot of random things happening. The Democratic debates in Houston, Texas, that was a total mess. What's going on with your man Joe Biden? Teeth almost falling out. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, or what's going on. Big time total mess. It's funny, but at the same time it's not, because obviously the man ain't all the way there mentally. But what else we got going on? Oh, wow. The Democratic debate was something we'll talk about a little bit more. I'm going to talk about it no more at this moment. Marianne Williamson realizing that the Democratic Party, liberals, people that she admires aren't what she thinks that they are. We'll talk about a whole lot more issues on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining tonight. I most certainly appreciate you. Like I said at the beginning, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I definitely appreciate you for that. Alrighty. What else we got on deck? Oh, the Atlanta fake hate crime. That was crazy. But, you know, at this point in time, I'm not surprised anymore at anything the left does. This is pretty much par for the course. It's not anything new at all. And shout out to the president for being able to get this asylum seeking ban at the border. That was a boss move if I've ever seen one in my life. Hopefully it holds up, because you got to have the California judges look it over and see what's really going on with it. Hopefully it holds up well. But let's talk about the debate right quick. Matter of fact, hold on. Before we get to the debate, because I'm going to talk about that, let's talk about this Atlanta fake hate crime, because that was just really one for the books. I mean, I understand people want to do these fake hate crimes, and they may not necessarily be smart. They may not be high IQ. They may be very low IQ. But good grief. I mean, come on, man. What are you doing? This guy, if you did not watch the video, this guy decided he was going to, I guess, pull off some insurance fraud, or, you know, try to get away with it. He has two businesses, like, side by side. It might be the same business in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is not too far from Atlanta proper. You know, it's like right there in the outskirts, in the far, I guess that's what, northeast outskirts. It's like between Atlanta proper and Athens, Georgia, if you know where that is. Anyway, he has a pizza shop and an ice cream shop, like right next to each other. He has a bright idea of vandalizing his own spot, probably to cash in on the insurance, because he called the insurance company immediately after he vandalized it. Now, how did he get caught in the act or after the act? This is what happened. He pulls up to his businesses at about 9:30 p.m. Okay, this is, you still got traffic going on. It's not really late at night. It's still relatively early in the evening, considering people are still moving and shaking and baking at that particular point. We're not really late into the night yet. So 9:30 p.m., he pulls up in a black truck, a pickup truck, goes to his businesses, walks in and spray paints MAGA and a Nazi. And he tried to spray paint a swastika, but what it really ended up being was like the Call of Zorro, just twice. One of them was like sideways, upside down. The other one was just like the regular Z. Like, that is not a swastika. That's a dead giveaway right there anyway. Anytime you see a swastika that looks like Zorro or some other kind of line stick figure art, it's probably a hoax. But moving right along, he spray paints a swastika, then he spray paints MAGA, then he spray paints monkey, N-word, all this, that, and the third, right? Trying to make it appear to be some kind of racial attack. Then he cuts up his couches with a knife, and he yanks the flat screen TVs out of the wall. Now, let's pause for a moment. How many people do you know can just yank a flat screen TV off the wall with the brackets still attached, the mounting bracket still attached? Okay, this is a former NFL football player. He was a big boy, probably on the line somewhere, offensive, defense, I'm not really sure. He's a big guy. We ain't talking about a wideout, a safety, or not even a halfback. They're pretty strong, but that's a different story. We're talking about a big, lunk of a man. You understand? So this dude used his superhuman strength to yank multiple TVs out of the wall with the mounting bracket still on it. And he takes the TVs and puts them into the bed of his pickup truck so you can see the TVs as he's going down the road. Now, I thought that it might make sense for him to do that with an SUV so they can be covered up. So when I reported on the story, I said it was SUV at first. But then I kept reading, it was a pickup truck so you could see the TVs. And not only did he have the TVs in the back of the pickup truck face down, which is crazy, he also had, like I said, the brackets on the back and like drywall, visible drywall on it. So obviously he did that in a haste. Like he just yanked it and put it in the back. And it was like, it had to have been about 8 TVs in the back of his pickup. You understand? The entire bed was filled with TVs. Okay. Anyway, this is 9:30 in the evening. A maintenance man is right there and is looking at it. The whole thing happened. He don't know that it's him. He might not have seen him going to the store, but he saw the truck. So he calls the police like, okay, it might be some kind of burglary going on here. The police get there. Well, matter of fact, some of the police are already there. They're just in the area scoping it out. Some of these businesses, they have police that are pretty much posted up right there because they know sometimes these areas are targets for thieves, especially at that particular time of the night. So the police are already right there. They spot the car. The maintenance man spots the truck. So the police get called. They pull him over, of course. And then it's like, oh, okay. Wow, you got about 18 flat screen TVs in the back of your pickup truck with drywall on it and the mounting bracket still on it. I wonder what you did right there. So they are suspicious, of course. They investigate. He eventually gets arrested. They found this guy with the black spray paint on his hands from when he was spray painting the so-called racial slurs inside of his business. They find this man with a crowbar. All the tools of destruction that he had, they found on him. All the evidence was right there. And by the time they had pulled him over, he had already called the insurance company. So understand this. The maintenance man saw the truck outside of the business. The police are already right there. So I'm thinking he probably called them before he actually took off in the truck and went down the street. He's trying to get some money out of it and trying to make it be more believable because you got some hate crime hoax type thing going on. This had to be the dumbest. And my thing is, okay, you've seen plenty of these hate crime hoaxes get found out. I'm talking about the FBI and even the regular police find evidence in extreme ways. They tracked, listen to what I'm saying. They tracked a piece of string to a store and with video, all that, to find those big bodybuilding Nigerian guys in the case of Jussie Smollett. So if they can do that, just regular police can do that, what makes anybody think they can get away with something like this at this particular point? 9:30, and then you did it yourself. You could have had somebody be hired to do that. You could have hired one of these poor white guys in Georgia somewhere, and country bumpkin say, hey, you go in there and do that. You could have done that, but maybe he didn't want to pay the white man to do that for him, so he wanted to do it himself like a dummy. That was crazy. But this lets you know that most of these so-called hate crimes, things like this, are from the left. I have yet to see a Trump supporter do something like this. The closest thing would be the quote-unquote MAGA bomber, but that wasn't even like this. I've yet to see somebody that is really a Trump supporter go and spray paint the Zorro symbol talking about this is the Nazi swastika, or spray paint racial slurs. I've never seen that. It does not happen. So the more the left keep doing things like this, the more these idiots keep trying to fraud the system, the less we're ever going to believe that we can do a thing like that. You don't have any evidence of us doing it. Anytime there may be, it's them really doing it. So there's no evidence of us actually doing it. Oh, shout out to Jesse. Yeah, Jesse had that money. And beyond having money, he had those personal connections. Jesse had a connection to Barack Obama. He was not going to go to jail because of that. That's the reality of the situation, okay? You got people in Chicago, prosecutors talking about drop the case, this, that, and the third. So, he was protected by his connections, by being a Hollywood celebrity, by having money, and by having people that he knows in very high places. That's how these things go. Oh, speaking about Felicity Huffman, this was a whole big case. People talking about, the thing about Felicity Huffman, there was a piece of that case I did not have time to go in and change before I put it out, because I wanted to get it out today so we could talk about it tonight on the show. One thing about Felicity Huffman, if you don't know, she got 14 days in prison or jail. They said prison, but 14 days in prison, how does it make sense? But I digress. She got 14 days in prison because of her role in the college exam entry cheating scandal. What she did was she paid this guy by the name of William Rick Singer or his company, Key International or something, $15,000 to have a human being, a physical person, take the SAT in place of her daughter. So rather than her daughter being there in the actual test facility taking the test, they had somebody else being there take the test for her, and they probably bribed the administrators to look the other way, because obviously if the person that's supposed to be there is not there, that might be kind of weird. It's like, okay, where's your ID? Who are you? This, that, and the third, but whatever. And the test score was much higher than the daughter had on the PSAT. So obviously it worked. Now for that, she got 14 days in prison. People were saying, oh, if it was a black person, they would have got more. And then I bring up Jussie Smollett. He got no time. Jussie Smollett's case was so crazy because it was like a fake hate crime. It was organized. It was planned out. People were paid money. You got text messages of drug sales, all kind of stuff in that case. And he had prior offenses, a DUI and some more stuff. Felicity Huffman, no prior offenses, 50-something years old, trying to do something for her daughter. So would that case really warrant a lot of time in the penitentiary? Because really it's just fraud at the end of the day. And of course she has the Hollywood celebrity privilege on her side, the liberal privilege on her side. So she won't go to jail because of that. It won't be an example made of her because of her status. Jesse, same thing. So it's not really a racial thing at that particular point. It's about your status. Somebody said, what about the lady that got sentenced to 5 years, I think in Bridgeport, Connecticut, for sending her son to a different school that he was not district, if that's the word, for? But there's much more to that case. What she did was sell dope at the same time to an undercover officer, not once, but twice. What I think happened after she got caught with the whole school thing and the dope is that a recommended sentence was 5 years, and the judge was like, okay, I could defer that or give you less time, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the whole 5 because of the dope slinging and whatnot, all right? So that's that. And she may have also had prior offenses aside from the dope slinging and aside from the whole school thing. So it was not just the school thing that got her to 5 years in the penitentiary. It was the dope and the priors. Also, a different black woman in Ohio this time actually got recommended 2 sentences of 5 years for just the school offense. Okay, I think it might have been 1 or 2 of her kids that she sent to a different school. Now, what was the actual sentence? Well, she only got 10 days in jail, not the penitentiary, jail, 10 days in jail. And I think she had to pay back like 30 grand in tuition. That was it. Why did she only get 10 days when she recommended 2 5-year terms? Well, because she did not sell dope and had no priors. See how that works? That probably was the same case in Felicity Huffman. And then on top of Felicity Huffman having no criminal background and whatnot, you also got money and celebrity status. Same thing as Juicy Smollett, but Jesse had a criminal background. If Jesse were not a celebrity, he'd have got locked up due to the scope of the crime and also his background. Simple. It is what it is. And what else we got on the board tonight? Oh, did you guys see Marianne Williamson get caught on a hot mic talking about liberals are nicer, not liberals are nicer, conservatives are nicer to her than the liberals are. Now, I thought that was kind of a, I don't want to say red pill moment, but almost a red pill moment. She understands what the reality of the world is at this particular point. She knows that what the media are telling her is not really what's going on with how people act on the right versus the left. She knows that at this particular point. She sees how she's treated when she goes to Fox News. Everybody's like, hey, Marianne, how's it going? But then when she goes to MI13 NBC, the energy is a little bit different. It ain't really the same. When she goes out there in the campaign trail, the energy ain't the same. Okay. Now, some would say, oh, it's a vicious campaign. People are just in the corner for their particular person. Is it really that vicious? I can't tell. When I saw the debate on Thursday night, it did not look too vicious to me. It was like a kitten petting contest. All right. It was not vicious. It was pretty soft. People were saying that Julian Castro was vicious when he said something about Joe Biden's memory. It's like, okay, that's the most you got to say an obvious thing like that. In 2016, they got pretty rough with the Republicans. You know, it was a whole lot of, people talking about your wife and all kind of stuff. But in this one, you're stating an obvious thing about Joe Biden not really being able to remember. Everybody can see that. Maybe it was wrong for Julian to just point out the obvious thing. I guess it's kind of the elephant in the room, right? You just hush about that. Don't say nothing about Joe Biden just losing his mind day by day. Every day as he goes out there, we see that he's not all the way 100% on point. We see it. There's no denying that fact. It's very simple. So it's not vicious, okay? What Marianne Williamson is seeing is how people act on the right versus how they act on the left, and it's not what the media says. The leftists are the crazy ones. We keep trying to tell people on the right that the liberals are nuts, and people are walking away saying the liberals are nuts. Now you see it for your own self. Now you see it with your own two eyes. You really know what's going on at this particular point in time, for sure. So I'm glad she got caught on the hot mic, and we now know what's going on. It's not going to hurt her campaign because her campaign is not really going anywhere. So it doesn't even really matter from that point of view. But it does matter that she was able to see the light and tell other people, although she didn't intend to. I think that she would never have said that if it were just a regular interview and she was asked. But, hey, it's out there now, so you can't take it back. It is what it is. I mean, she tried to take it back talking about, just talking about the nature of the risk. You put it out there, so don't try to take it back now. It is what it is. All right. And then what else we got here? Now, shout out to the Supreme Court upholding the asylum ban. I'm definitely with that. Now, what's going on with that is the administration, the current administration, Trump's administration says that we're going to uphold the international law, which goes as follows. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But if you're seeking asylum, you must stop at the first safe country you go to and try to get asylum there. Apply for asylum there. Don't just come from halfway around the globe, flying over other countries, spending thousands of dollars to come to the U.S. talking about, I'm a poor refugee. If you spent enough money to have a flight that took you from one continent to another, you are not a refugee. I'm sorry. If you are a refugee, maybe you would have gone somewhere closer to where you at right now. To me, that kind of makes sense. I saw Canada taking an asylum seeker from like the Middle East. It's like, what? So how who funded the trip to get over? To me, it doesn't make any sense at all. These people are not poor. These people are trying to get more money. They already got money. Let's let that be clear. One guy from Honduras spent like $8,000 to get here. I mean, how many people can say they can just spend $8,000 and still be able to live? They said most Americans do not have enough to be able to cover a small amount of money for an emergency, like $400 for an emergency, like 74% of Americans. So if that's true, I'm not sure if it is or not, but let's just say it is. Why should I feel in any kind of way sorry for an illegal alien that has $8,000 to just spend on the risk because he might not make it? You know, a lot of these guys go over and over again, and I'm sure that you can't just keep that money with a coyote on credit. Like, hey man, I didn't make it. Can you hold that $8,000 for me? It's like, no, senor. You got to pay again. So you spending thousands of dollars to come over here for what? Because you're an asylum seeker? Come on, be for real. If you got that much money, it's not that bad where you are. Let's just keep it honest and plain. All right. Ain't no real refugees coming. It's people trying to get money. You get economic refugees, people that have money where they're at and want more. People that don't like living a simplistic lifestyle and want something better. Remember that picture that was on Time magazine of Trump, and he had a little girl crying up at him with the red cover. He was looking down on her. You know, the Photoshop image like they always do. That little girl was kidnapped by her mother from her father in Honduras, where they had a good life. He had a good job, took care of the family. But guess what? She wanted more. She wanted to live the American lifestyle and whatnot. And she knew that if she could take one of her kids, a little baby, and, you know, try to cross that way, it would work out better for her. She'd be able to gain entry into the country better. A lot of these kids are trafficked. You got daughter's own mother kidnapping her. So imagine what people that are there, people that are not their parents. Yeah, imagine what the kids are going through who are there when the people not their parents. They're being sold, they're being kidnapped and sold to other people. It's a mess. You have human trafficking going on, and in sanctuary cities, the human trafficking is off the chain. Because how are you going to stop a human trafficking thing from going on if you cannot follow immigration law? ICE may have a detainer warrant for people that are engaging in human trafficking, but if, let's say, San Francisco says we're not going to let you execute that, I mean, what's happening in the meantime? You're still going to have people still getting trafficked, little children getting trafficked, and nobody can do anything about it. But let you just try to litter on the ground and a straw falls and you get caught, you might get sent to the gulag to make big rocks into little rocks. This whole system we have here under liberalism in certain parts of the country is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any logical sense, you know. But again, it does because you see who they want to bring into the country to replace all of us as Americans. Color is irrelevant. They want to have a servant class, a serf class that will replace American citizens. That's what they want. People that are going to vote for them, work under the table. And it's funny how they say they want a higher minimum wage, right? $15 an hour. That's just for American citizens. And we're not going to get that because the jobs that may pay that will simply pay some of these illegal aliens less up under the table. That's the situation that we're in right now. And even if your company does not hire illegal aliens, they got to compete with those that do. So the price is going to be an issue. If they got to pay $15 an hour, but over here, they're paying their guys $5 an hour or $7 an hour, whatever the case may be, the cost of their goods and services is going to be lower. So how are you going to be able to match that level of cost with double the payroll expenses? That's what's going on right now. So people don't really see that, but they will see it in a very short period of time, 100%. And I want to know, people are talking about Trump's not going to win. Who has a chance over on the side of the aisle? Who really can actually go in there and do anything to Trump? Is it going to be Creepy Joe, Pocahontas? Nobody over there has a chance. Hillary Clinton was their best shot. She's still stronger than anybody out there in the race right now, aside from Trump himself. Nobody else has a chance. You might as well put one of the people in the squad in the race. I mean, at least they're kind of popular on Twitter. Maybe that'll help you, because I don't see the numbers to me just aren't really adding up to a victory for the left in any race nationally. I just don't see it. They could win local stuff, oh yes, because you have some places that'll go blue regardless of what. It ain't gonna be too many seat flipping scenarios happening. There could be some, but for the most part, nah. These places are deep blue, deep red. That's pretty much what it is. And on a national level, you got to be able to have people that can come in there and take over. If you don't have that, then you won't be able to move forward. It is what it is. All right. But thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. Please give the video a thumbs up. That helps me out tremendously. Also, share the video. Do all that good stuff for me. And if you're not subscribed already, please do so. There should be a red button that says subscribe. Click that button and click the bell right beside it so you get notified whenever I go live or post a new video. Sean Pay says they want a surf class because it's a never-ending voting block to retain power in perpetuity. Correct. 100%. They're going to vote for them all the time. They're going to be, low-level labor so they can manipulate how they talk about wages in the country. That's what they want. And people seem to be fighting for it. I don't understand. I never understood how it made sense for a person to fight to be at the bottom. You should fight to be at the top. You should fight to be the victor, not the victim. But that's what's going on right now. People are fighting to be the victim. I have the real oppression. You don't. It's silly. But what the funny part is, when they're fighting for their victimhood status, they're really going to get it in a way they can't even imagine until it actually happens. Because right now, things are kind of good. But when these liberal states and cities really enact the sanctuary thing, like when it really starts to take full steam in these places, it's going to be a mess. It's a mess right now, but it'd be even worse. You're talking about dystopian future in these places. You be trying to escape like Cuba. So, hey, if you live in a place like that, my heart goes out to you. Hopefully you're able to survive, or you can move, or maybe you can make a change. I'm not really sure, but it's terrible in some of these liberal parts of the country. Race to the bottom. That's correct, T-Pain. You got it. Yeah, and the media are complicit with it, because the media are the enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. Like, at one point, it was a Klan. They were the Democratic Party enforcement arm. Now you have the media working with, groups like Antifa. The media do the damage on the airwaves. Antifa does it on the internets and also in person, physically. That is that's their army right there. And our army is the actual people. That's the regular, everyday, same people. That is our army. And they're trying to disarm our army by people like Beto talking about, oh, we're going to take your AR-15. I've never seen so many come and get it in my life. And the thing about it is, it's not a threat. No, we're going to protect ourselves as intended by the Constitution. Simple as that. We don't want an oppressive government to overthrow us, and that's it. I don't want to hurt nobody, but hey, some people are going to be like, come and take it, and it might not end well. It's simple. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens if there is some kind of conflict between a person in law enforcement and the regular everyday citizen, and the person happens to get shot, the citizen that is, and they happen to be black. What's the angle going to be? AR-15 wielding black men shot and killed? Are they going to try to ignore it? Or like police brutality? What's going on with that? Okay. And then some police aren't going to do this. They're going to just, like in New York City with NYPD, when they turn their backs on Bill de Blasio, when they stop answering certain calls, or they'll protest. Don't get it twisted. So people like Beto think that they have the full confidence of the U.S. military and the U.S. police in different parts of the country, state, local, whatever. That's not the case. These people believe in liberty too, and they want to protect themselves and American people. They won't put themselves in harm's way when it's not needed. To go to a Vietnam veteran's house and take their AR-15, why? It doesn't make any sense. So if there's a troll in here, please get the troll out. I know we got mods. Get the troll out. I can't really edit it right now. If it's a troll, I'm not sure if it is or not, though. I can't even really see it. If they just, hanging out, then you can let them be. Okay, let me just edit my title right quick. Let me get to the calls in just a moment. Let me see. What did I want to put in here? I think I was missing the part about the, what's the lady's name? Oh, not Lori Loughlin. Felicity. Felicity Huffman, that's her name. There we go, Felicity Huffman. Let me see. Thank you, T-Pain. Appreciate you. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see what they were doing. Yeah, I was seeing some of that. Sean Pace says these numbers don't matter this early, but the latest general election poll has Biden beating Trump 55-40. I mean, the polls said the same thing about Hillary last time, and we see what happened. And just from looking at, okay, let's go back to 2016 right quick. Have we changed that much in just not even 3 years? Have we changed that much? Because in the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton was very stronger than anybody that's out there right now, and she lost. The incumbent is always stronger the second time, usually. Not always, but usually. They're the incumbent. Trump has a lot of, energy behind him. It's always packed out rallies. I'm seeing more and more people becoming Trump supporters and being vocal about it and really being patriotic. I'm seeing that more and more. And the left is going very far left with crazy things, transgender kids and whatnot, going very far left. Talking about abortion up until the point of birth, going very far left. So where is the actual enthusiasm to vote for the left, which has gone all the way off the deep end? And then on top of that, you have Trump then coming with a lot of energy. I just don't really see how Biden can defeat Trump. Biden can barely get up in the morning and put a teeth in his mouth correctly. The poly grip is barely even really bonding to his gums. You understand? So how can that guy do anything with Trump? Just thinking about it a little bit, I just don't really understand how that's possible. That's all. Shout out to, what's that? Pi B, who says China owns fake news and polls. China wants Biden. Oh, yeah, because they can do whatever they want with Joe Biden. He would just be a rag doll in the hands of Xi Jinping and everybody else. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. I've seen a lot of Chinese ads in some of these quote-unquote newspapers in the country because, the paper industry is a dying format, so they're trying to get ads however they can, wherever they can. And if that means they got to go get them from the PRC, then they'll do it. And that's what's happening. So a lot of these polls that get released by the mainstream media from a lot of these failing organizations have money that comes from foreign countries. And it's funny how that's not talked about, how you got foreign countries funding some of these polls or, anything else. That's not spoken about as any kind of election interference. But the Russian Federation having a company that has no evidence of being linked directly to the Kremlin pay like $4,000 in Google AdWords, and all of a sudden they're trying to ruin our democracy, quote unquote democracy, which is not really. It's a constitutional republic. They're trying to ruin our country based upon $4,000 in AdWords. But you got millions upon millions upon millions spent from foreign nations to prop up these liberal dying formats, and there's no real red flag or alarm there. We see what's really going on. So anytime I hear people talking about Russia, and I just kind of roll my eyes really, because it's a silly thing to even discuss. Ain't no Russian collusion. And why is Russia the only country that's spoken about? Like, are we back to the Red Scare like we were back in the earlier days in this country? Are they going to rain nuclear bombs on us? Is that what's going to happen? There you go, Sean Gomez. So once you turn 21, you buying your first gun and an AR-15. There we go. Yes, indeed. Hey, you have that right as an American. to protect yourself and others, to hunt, to fish, whatever. You have rights. Exercise your rights responsibly, like everybody should, and everybody will be fine. Everybody will be fine. There was one point in time, like I said many times before, we had rifle clubs in school. You could take your gun to school, a rifle now, and have it in the back of your pickup truck in the window, in the parking lot, or even bring it into school. Nobody was getting shot. None of these mass shootings were happening. There's other things going on. The gun obviously ain't the problem. It's simple as that. There's other things that are going on that are making these quote unquote mass shootings happen. And why is it only a focus on quote unquote mass shootings when it's like a lot of people shot at once, like more than normal? And when I say normal, I mean you may have a house party where 10 people get shot, 12 people get shot, and then it don't make the news at all. It's only when a particular thing is beneficial to a narrative does it get talked about at all. That's what's really happening here. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. You know, what can I really say? What can I do about that? I'm not really sure. There you go, Sushi says, had a gun rack in my truck in high school. Exactly. You know, that was what's going on. Yeah, hey, Joe Garcia, in some parts of the country, you still can do that. You can get a gun in Virginia with no license. You can open carry with no license in Virginia, depending upon the gun and depending upon the area. There's a basic handgun. You can open carry that just outside wherever you want. Only thing you can't do is go in certain establishments open carrying, which is weird, but it is what it is. Yeah, Joe Biden is not going to find them dentures. I'm sorry, they're gone. They're long gone and not coming back. And shout out to Super Chats right quick. I got to read those right before we get to the calls. Thank you to E. Mitz, who says the Young Turks recorded a segment just a few days prior to the debate, saying nobody is trying to take your guns away. That clip clearly didn't age well thanks to the debates, especially Beto O'Rourke. Exactly. Now, thank you for the donation. Definitely appreciate you and your comment. Beto himself said last year that he would not be taking guns away. He said specifically, if you bought your AR-15, you own it legally, you can keep your AR-15 that you own legally. Now, all of a sudden, maybe not even a year later, he says, we're going to take your AR-15 and AK-47 from you through a mandatory buyback. Okay? So what happened to this whole thing about you can keep it and all this, that, and the third? He'll make the argument, oh, well, we did not have the mass shootings in El Paso and Odessa at that particular point in time. Well, you've had other mass shootings. You've had other terror attacks. So why change your tune now? It's because at that point in time when he said that, he was trying to become the senator in Texas. And there's no way you're going to be able to win the race in Texas by talking about you're going to take guns away. It's impossible. Even the lefties would say, I'm not giving you my guns in Texas. It is what it is. You can have the most stomped down liberal on every other thing, abortion up until the baby is going to middle school, free health care for all aliens. It don't matter, open borders. But that gun, they're going to keep that. Alyssa Milano has 2 guns in her house. Alyssa Milano has 2 guns in the crib. And she lived in the LA Hills? You going to Texas talking about gun confiscation? Good luck with that. But now you're trying to become the president. You realize how far left it's become. So this is your only real chance to get some attention and to beef up them failing polling numbers. You know the negative stuff and far left stuff helps you in the polls. The unfortunate part for him and fortunate for us is that far left in the polls will not translate into a win come election day. It'll just make you look popular right now on Twitter and on social media platforms and on television to the far leftist crazy nut jobs like Don Lemon and other individuals like Anderson Cooper and whatnot. But I digress. Thank you to Chaz Brown, who says the Civil War is coming because of the division the Democratic Party is creating. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. I don't know about that Civil War. I think a lot of people ain't really built for that, honestly. I don't know about that. It's a handful of people that might want to pretend to fight, but then when it really gets active, when that first shot gets fired, people are going to run away, go back to their house and continue to watch Game of Thrones and eat their pizza and drink it down with some Diet Coca-Cola. They're not really trying to get into that war in my opinion. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says Americans believe in integration, Hispanics believe in segregation, and they practice group economics, which is why their money goes so far. Well, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. I mean, the thing about people that come from different groups is that a lot of times they pretty much stay to themselves, especially when they have their own language and whatnot. But they also bring money from other places, and it's kind of hard to just put Hispanics into one group because they're not really just one monolith. You got those that just work, on the fields and they maids or whatever. Then you got those that don't work. Then you have those that just work regular jobs, office, tech, or whatever. You also got gangbangers. You got people that don't work. You got a little bit of everybody. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Chris Anderson and Love RN for your donations. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you to T-Hole Lukes, who says, just sending you some hometown support for all you do. Tennessee bread, and I bleed orange. Shout out to the Vols. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to read the chat a little bit and see if I miss anything. Yes, she does have guns, Anthony McQuaid. Alyssa Milano has 2 guns in her house for self-protection. She said that on a debate with Ted Cruz about guns. She said that. So if you have Alyssa Milano with 2 guns in California, think about how the liberals are in Texas. They're not trying to get them guns up. And then Beto had to lie again, talking about, I spoke to people at a gun show that did not want their AR. So let me get this straight. You went to a gun show, I presume in Texas, people were buying AR-15s and they told you that they don't need it. Now, I think he could be telling the half truth, and let me explain. He may have asked them, do you absolutely positively need it without a shadow of a doubt? Could you live without it? And they may have said, I could live without it. And he translated that into saying that they don't need it. Because if they don't need it, why would they be buying it? Like, just for no reason? At a certain point, they need it for something. They may be able to live without the actual weapon. Like, you could still breathe oxygen if you don't have it, but I want it. I got rights. So, I mean, you can't just say, oh, because you don't have to, it's not required to live that you don't need it. That doesn't make any sense. That's, want and need ain't always the same. And just because there's not an absolute dire need for a particular thing does not mean that I should not have it, that you should be able to say that I can't have it, that I would want to give it back to you after you request it. Okay, it's like back in the day, you might have a pair of Jordans, right? And then somebody come up to you and say, hey, do you need them Jordans? Well, I don't need them, but I want them. They mine. They'd be like, nah, since you don't need them, give them to me. It's like, no, thank you, sir. And then you get into a fight and he steals your shoes. And then he says, well, you say you didn't need them, so I took them. That's not how that works. So, Beto, that's not going to be how that works, sir. You're not going to be able to take my guns away because you say that I don't have to have them to survive. It's silly. But that's what politicians do at a particular point in time. Shout out to RMAT Cell 61 who says, anytime you look at a poll, always check where it was taken at. Yeah, correct. Because a lot of these poll sources, they're not really good. If thank you to Stacy Felice for your donation, I most certainly appreciate you. 100%. Yeah, but see, I mean, Beto, nobody on that side has a real chance. I think Pocahontas has probably the best chance of being able to do anything in this particular race. But her chances of actually succeeding and becoming the president are slim to none. So, all we can do right now is just hope for a very entertaining debate and not take it like it's a game. Go out there and vote. So I want to mobilize everybody to vote and keep that pressure on. Don't just relax. Go out there and vote. But understand these people don't really have a chance. Just keep that same attitude, but don't take it lightly. Don't take it like it's nothing. Thank you to I'm going to butcher your name and I'm sorry. Hua Jatola. Chick, who says, thank you for your spot on commentary and thank you for your service. And give me the courtesy. Thank you for that. I've not been in the military, so I want to make that clear. But thank you for your donation and your comment. I most certainly appreciate you. All right. Let me see. What else we got here? Fortini D says, ABL, we are currently number 1 in oil and natural gas production, 12 million barrels a day. Hey, very good. Absolutely. And we're not going to shut that down. People talking about, oh, we're going to become totally green with no fossil fuels. Come on, please. Like, you're totally neglecting all the millions of cars that are on the road that require gas, cars that are being produced right now. Even the so-called hybrid cars require gas. There's only a handful of all electric cars out there. Wait, I guess it's Tesla. And I saw Tesla burn just to a crisp because the battery technology ain't all the way there. You got autopilot, people falling asleep in the car. What if you fall asleep in the car and then the car busts into flames and you sound asleep and you can't even open the door because of a malfunction with the lock system and too much technology that is still in its infancy. We're not in a place where you're able to get away from fossil fuel. We're just not there yet. You got to let time and innovation happen to get to that point. You can't just force innovation happen with government money. Like, government does not breed innovation. Well, let me rephrase that. Government does not create innovation. It does not innovate. Maybe there could be an environment where innovation can happen when you just back off and let us do whatever we want to do as human beings. That can be where you can breed innovation by backing off and not intervening. But when you intervene and you put your resources and whatnot, that does not force innovation. It doesn't happen, never does, and it never will. Go to any country where there was communism, where a lot of government control happened, you're not going to see innovation. Innovation comes from the people just being free. Mr. MD, that's a good question. How about the climate being racist? That was crazy. I heard that. I think that might have been Beto or somebody talking about. No, matter of fact, it may have been Beto, but it was Cory Booker I'm talking about right now that was saying something about climate racism. It's like, what? So the climate is now racist? Eco-racism? It's like, okay. I think what he's saying is how some, poor people, which got to be the same as black people because ain't nobody poor that's white, but I'll move on. He's saying how there's some poor blacks that live on land that was lead contaminated, therefore that's environmental racism. It's like, all right, it ain't like there's lead being actively pumped into these places right now. Okay, number one. And number two, people live there because the land is cheap. It might have been a factory or something right there before. Nobody knew about the lead paint and the lead in the soil. Now they're trying to fix it. That's a simple thing. If we're trying to reverse that, which we didn't know was a harmful thing at the time, like you had lead in the paint in people's houses. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Puerto Rican candy stripe. You had lead in the house. We're removing all that. We're getting the lead out of the soil. So how is that any kind of racism? It doesn't make any sense. Or you may live next to something that has a lot of smoke or some kind of factory or chemical plant or something like that. That's not a black thing or a white thing. It's just a location thing. It may not even be a poor thing all the time, because in Charleston, West Virginia, a few years back, had this whole thing with the water. If you know anything about West Virginia, you were there, you know what I'm talking about. There was it's a bunch of chemical companies right there, and one of them spilled their tank into the river, into the canal, and they got up into the little reservoir or the little creek, which is a lot of the drinking water. So for I think some months, people were on boil. Like it was crazy. The water was unusable for a long time. You couldn't even really shower with it. It was a mess. But that affected everybody in the area. It didn't matter if you were rich, poor. It don't matter. You could have lived like downtown in a nice little area, nice little posh part. You could live up in the hollow, up in the crypt. You could have lived way down the river or anywhere. It would have affected you if you had access to that particular water. If you had well water or whatever it is. Okay. It's your location, not about your race. So to say that there's environmental racism is just silly. But it's a little key buzzword people use to get people riled up and to get them upset about a particular thing so they can just enact whenever they want to enact on people. It's simple. Thank you to my man Sushi, who says in 1978, climate scientists claimed the Earth was headed into the next ice age. The video is on YouTube. Leonard Nimoy narrated it. Check it out. I remember that. They said that there's global cooling back then. Now, I was not alive, but I remember hearing about how back then they were talking about the Earth being too cold. All right. Let me see. Shout out to Trey Terror, who says the way things have been dealt with in Mendon, West Virginia, Fayette County have been terrible as well. It's on the federal list for it as a year or two ago. Yeah, I mean, people just don't understand about location. That's the main thing. And sometimes it's government too. Shout out to Fuse Breaker, who says, is Flint good yet? I mean, the money is there for them to be good. Here's an example I'm talking about with the government. That's a great question, and you asked it in the right time. Flint has a problem of location and incompetent government. Now, this is what they were doing. Before the water crisis happened, they were buying water from Detroit, and it was no problem. Everything was all good. Now, they're all Democrat, and probably majority black city council decided that they didn't want to get water from Detroit anymore because it was costing too much money. So they would get it straight from the Flint River. But what they didn't understand was that the Flint River was very corrosive as far as the water itself. And their pipe system was not prepared for the corrosive nature of the water. So what happened when they used the Flint River rather than Detroit water, buying it and importing it, the water from the river corroded the pipes, which are already old. That created a lot of deposits and people water at their tap. Okay, so the pipes coming through and the water is corroding it, and it's carrying all these pieces of the pipe and other things from the river water into their house, which way you get all kind of brown and big chunks of metal and stuff like that. Okay, now there's been millions of dollars, if not billions, but I know it's millions of dollars that has been allotted to Flint to fix that problem. But a lot of the money has not been accessed yet. They don't know where it is. They can't account for it. So at a certain point, you have location as a problem, but also incompetent leadership. All Democrats in Flint. Very simple. Oh, Bill Nye's getting silly money. Bill Nye's getting like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. Not Bill Nye, pardon me. Who else? Who's a climate change patron saint? Oh, Al Gore. Al Gore is the leader of the Church of Climate Change. He's getting paid plenty of money, 100%. And shout out to Valerie Rogers, who says, who is casting spells up in here? I don't know, but hey, I don't know anything about that, so I can't even really, I can't help you with that one. Yeah. But, and with Flint, before we get to the calls, there was a whole gang of volunteers that were ready to do whatever was needed to go out there and help with the cleanup effort. Ready. But hey, people dropping the ball. What are people going to do if, there's what can you do if people don't, cooperate? If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what are you really going to do? There's not much that can be done. All right. So I'm going to get to the calls. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate you. Please like the video and share the video. That helps me out tremendously. The number to call is in the description box, and it's also in the ticker right here at the bottom. It should be. I just put it right there because I didn't have it on the thing before. Let me see. Does it come up? Donate, and then what else? There we go. Dial 434-658-1220 to call into the show. Absolutely. Probably both. Fuse breaker. All right, Victor, what's going on? Can you hear me, Victor? Hold on one second. All right, let me see. Okay, can you hear me, Victor? Victor, can you hear me? All right, hold on. I got to change my speakers. All right, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we good. That was my fault.
Okay, cool. So thanks for taking my call.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. Well, I would like to say that the Democrat primary debate was the worst debate ever because it was taking place at Texas Southern, which is the worst school of all time. And that's just me because I went to Prairie View A&M University, and that's my rival school.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, speaking about HBCUs, I do want to talk about the Jamel Hill article.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I didn't have too much of an issue with the article because it did feel like a suggestion, but I did like how you point out that it also felt like a force by shaming Kayvon Thibodeau for not going to the HBCU, and I think that's wrong. And also, her article doesn't correlate because she's basically saying that just because the white schools make this much money, black schools are struggling, and that's not even the case. Because for me, following Prairie View, even before I even went to that school, Prairie View and just HBCU football in general has come a long way. I mean, I went to Prairie View at the time when they set the record of the most losing streaks, the longest losing streaks of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, but then after I graduated, they won their conference. They won their conference championship. And when I was at the school, the football field wasn't great. I mean, high school stadiums look better than our football stadium. But
Wow.
but now, if you see it now, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. So just because those white schools are making more money doesn't mean that they're struggling at all.
Right.
Yeah, and then HBCUs, as I mentioned before, has come a long way because of a lot of the exposure that they're getting now on TV or even on streaming, that the competition has gotten a lot better. Then Jamel Hill mentioned that HBCUs put in this many doctors, this many lawyers, this many professional people, and just they don't need football to put in those people. Xavier University in New Orleans doesn't even have a football program, but it is well known of making black scientists, doctors and scientists, without a football program at all.
Right.
Yeah, and and also, it's not really about a white versus black school. It's just about a big school and a small school.
That's correct.
Because you also got Sam Houston State University, Abilene Christian University, University of Texas San Antonio. Those are small schools, but not even making the amount of money as all those other big schools like Alabama and Texas. And just say hypothetically, these top recruits go to these black colleges. It's not going to change because even during segregation, when you have those top athletes going to those black colleges, they still weren't making as much money as those big schools.
Right.
So it's not. So that's not going to change at all. And also, just because Jamel Hill mentioned about how much money that these white schools are making, all she's talking about is revenue, but she doesn't even take in the expense that the schools have to pay. And really, most of those schools, even though you see them making over $100 million revenue, it's still not making a profit.
Right, they're spending a lot of money too. I mean, it takes money to
Yes,
make money, so it's
yes,
really just kind of inflated.
yes, exactly. I mean, look at for instance, LSU. They just got a $28 million football facility, and they mentioned how the budget, the budget at the school is being cut, and buildings like the library is crap.
Right,
But yet though that football revenue is not covering the school,
right,
and as well as the other athletic programs. Um, now, now on your video, you mentioned about how the top recruits who could go to a school with better facilities, um, and better coaching, all that type of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, so I could say that yes, the facilities and part of the treatments are going to be better. Coaching, um, maybe or maybe not, uh, because from these HBCUs you have people like Jerry Rice, Michael Strahan, Walter Payton, Deacon Jones, Ken Houston, Shannon Sharp, that went to HBCUs and considered the best,
right,
the best in their position. Um, and then you mentioned about they could go to the schools that's with a better education. And I would say that it depends on the program, because for instance, I went to Prairie View. My brother went to University of Texas. I majored in biology, and he majored in accounting. And I think that he was better off going to Texas for his accounting degree
right,
if he then he goes to Prairie View. Now, for me, uh, Prairie View is known for their biology program, and their engineering program. I believe for their agriculture. So I would say that they will get a good education if you go to those programs, as well as places like Tuskegee, where
right,
they're real known making good engineers. Morehouse and Spelman are well known to making very good people in these white collar positions.
right, right, right.
And then on top of that too, most of those kids don't even want to take their education serious.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of kids won't take it seriously, but some do. You know, some do. So I guess it depends on the person, their situation, what they got going on, what they want to do in the future. But I think that should be up to them to decide where they want to go, and
Right.
it shouldn't be up to Jamel Hill to be like, oh well, you should have went here, this, that, and the third. Let them do whatever they want.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And do I have time to make one more comment about Jamel Hill?
Actually, I'm like right at 9 minutes, so I'm kind of getting low on time.
All right, then. Cool. Well, that's all I have to say. Thanks for taking my call.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, then. Bye.
All right, thank you to my man Victor for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Alrighty. And shout out to all you guys who are watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. That helped me out tremendously. 832, you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 832.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Everything's great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm from Houston, Texas. I've just got a few comments that I want to say about that debate that we had down here.
Alrighty.
Well, most of that was a joke, and it was more comical than it was anything else. Especially that comment that Beta Boy commented on about the dying child that got shot up and whatnot. Well, I don't believe that for anything, and they want to say the AR-15 is a battlefield weapon. Well, just about every weapon that was ever created was created for the battlefield.
Right. I mean, they carry 9mm too out there on the battlefield. You know.
Well, that's right. I'm an 8-year veteran in the Army, so I know for sure we use the M9A1 a 9mm Beretta. So
right, exactly.
and also during the World War I and World War II, shotguns. The Springfield, the M1 Grand, those were battlefield weapons, and yet those were used commonly in the household after the war, and are still currently being housed, or owned in people's houses. So that his comment on there was it was laughable and unrealistic, and the type of round you want to use if you do have to ever engage anybody or anything like that is a round you want to explode inside someone.
Right, yeah, because you want to be able to actually stop the threat.
Yes, that's right. If someone's at a Walmart or something like that, and it's used correctly, I'm not talking about these nutcase losers out here that are going crazy, losing their minds. They're terrorists. That's what they are. They're terrorists. So if I engage somebody that's breaking in my house, I want that round to explode in their body for them to not survive, right. Especially in the state of Texas. Because if they survive in the state of Texas, they can sue you.
Right. So you don't want that. You want the threat to be ended, have the whole thing be over with. I did not know they could sue you. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, in the state of Texas, yeah, the family of the victim could also sue you as well for what is known as a unlawful, not unlawful, but I forgot the exact term they use, but basically murder. They can sue you for murder, kind of like.
Wow.
Same thing if someone breaks into your house and they cut themselves on the broken window, and they can sue you in the state of Texas.
Wow.
That's the way the law is written.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But a lot of this stuff with the whole gun grab and stuff, the cost of bullets and everything, and AR-15s, people can go buy those like crazy now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a rush for sure, because now it's like all this talk, they keep talking about it over and over again. All you're really doing is just giving the AR-15 rifle the big promo.
Yeah, but the AR-15, you're more common to be killed by a hammer. More hammers in this country kill people than AR-15.
Yeah, a rifle is not a common form of being able to kill somebody because it's not portable. You're not going to just, pull an AR-15 out randomly in the store. Like, that's somebody that has some kind of problem. Like, the usual gun is a handgun because you can conceal it, you can carry it around. It's easier to use for some people. For me, a rifle is easier to use, but for some people, they like the handgun better. So that's the most common thing.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely correct. More people are killed in Chicago in 1 year than are killed by AR-15s in 2 years total combined. And those are nutcases. Those are criminals. Like, those are people that don't go to Walmart or Academy or any of those other stores that illegally buy their firearms. They're criminals. They do this with intent.
Right.
So you unarm the population, and then basically you enslave them. That's kind of what the whole Liberal Party or Democratic Party is basically the new form of slave owners. That's what it's going to be about.
That's right.
So I sure do appreciate taking my call, and I love your show, and keep on doing what you're doing, man. I'm gonna continue to watching you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for the call and support, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, now. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Shout out to the caller. Great call. 100%. Yeah, that's the thing. People talking about, it's a battlefield weapon. What? I mean, you can have anything on the battlefield and use it as a weapon. You can use you see what they're doing right now in Middle East, rocks, all that. Homemade rockets. But really, I mean, seriously, like the Glock 19, that was designed to be for the military. It had the desert sand color and all that, but you can buy that as a civilian. It's not special because of the name or the fact that it was designed for the military. It's a 9mm handgun. I mean, it's a nice weapon, but it's not like, different than a gun that you would use as a civilian in any kind of meaningful way, aside from the you know, the actual design and things like that. But as far as firepower, it's 9mm. But let me get to my next call. Let's go 843 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 843. Yes, 843. Who am I speaking to? 843. Can you hear me? 843. Do not listen to the stream. Listen to me. Okay, they hung up. Okay, anybody that wants to call in for the first time, like that's kind of a thing that people kind of have a hard time with sometimes. They're calling in for the first time. You cannot watch the stream and talk to me because it will be a delay. You won't be able to. It won't make any sense. So just talk to me on the phone, and we can communicate that way. Just turn your stream totally off, and then resume it once you get off. Once you get done with the call. All right. Let me get to my next call here. 713 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah, 713. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? This is George, man, over in Houston as well. You just got off the line with the Houston caller.
Alrighty. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just wanted to kind of touch bases with you. It's so many things to say, you know, as far as unpacking this whole, you know, Houston debate thing that you were on, right? I'm here in Houston, you know?
Yeah.
And listen, let me give you something to think about. Hey man, I'm here in Houston. I'm a homeowner here in Houston. I work in the engineering community here in Houston. I can tell you about some of the projects that I worked on here in Houston 10 years ago, as far as the sanctuary city state is concerned. This is going to happen. The neighborhoods that they're building houses in, the type of homes they're putting up, the development, they're going to bring people from Mexico, and I worked on the design for a high-speed road with rail, high-speed rail, which is going to go from Mexico to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And the engineering department, right, even at the DOT, I just got off of a work assignment at the DOT, and I can tell you that the environment is different. The things is handled there, right? And listen, this is going to happen. These people from Mexico and other border states, other border countries rather, are going to come just based on the engineering that I've worked on, right? That's one thing I wanted to unpack. Here's another thing because I want to try to get it all in. Anybody that can compete with Trump, and I think Trump is going to make a major move. I would be so heart-filled warmed if he does it. Tulsi Gabbard. Because many of us know Mike Pence is wearing a wire. Mike Pence is deep state. He's wearing a wire around Trump. Many of us know that. George Webb talks about it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
I've not heard that before.
Oh, yeah. Check George Webb. You know, Mike Pence is wearing a wire. And I've seen Mike Pence on many type of videos behind Trump's back. He's making these handshakes with, like, you know, these officials, law enforcement officials, you know what I'm saying, behind Trump's back. But the Q followers know. If you follow Q any, you know what's up. The Q followers who basically, you know, follow the Q posting from, you know, different, you know, QAnon sites like 8chan, 4chan, mainly 8chan. They're waiting for 8chan to come back up. But, okay, but I wanted to get to you also about your title here, which is Houston. I'm in Houston. I'm from Chicago, by way of Alabama. Okay. I was born in Alabama. So I grew up in Chicago. I'm in Houston, you know. So there's a lot to unpack about even Chicago. When I go to Chicago, dude, I'm happy as hell because I got money in my pocket.
Right.
In Houston, if you're talking about sanctuary city, listen, the people here who didn't cross the border, whatever, they're not worried about sanctuary city, dude. They like cashing their checks at the gas stations with the Indian gas station owners, sending money to Mexico, buying scratch offs. They're not worried about La Migra. You know what La Migra is, right?
No.
That's immigration.
Okay.
They're not worried about that. They cutting all the grass. The people, I heard you make the statement about the whole minimum wage thing or whatever. I work in the engineering community, man, and I'm really I'm really starting to kind of get worried a little bit about America and the future because of, one, the engineering people in Austin, which is where the DOT headquarters is, they want a high-speed rail and a corridor line from Mexico to Canada. And they're going to use George Bush's eminent domain to make it go through. I wish I could talk to you longer, but I don't want to. I want to hear what would somebody else say, But I'm telling you, I deal with this stuff in years advance from working in the engineering community, from clearing and grubbing, buying the land, taking the land from taxes, or saying we need this by the means of eminent domain, meaning for the betterment of the country. But listen, I'm going to get off, let somebody else talk. I love your show, man. Thank you for taking my call, y'all. Somehow I'm always able to get through. I appreciate it, brother. All right, I'm going to get off and listen to others, all right?
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys as well. Please like the video. That helps me out tremendously. Let me get to my next call here. 646 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Stacy Felice.
All righty. What's going on?
Hi. I just wanted to talk about, first of all, I wanted to tell you that how much I enjoy your show. And I was wondering, did you ever think of teaching? Because you remind me of a high school teacher I once had. And I just think, you're doing really well with your show in its own right, but I think you would be a fantastic teacher in a particularly in a high school because I had a teacher similar to that, and I grew up in New York City, in a very liberal Democrat New York City, and I had a teacher in high school who taught us a lot of things that stuck with me now, and that's many years later.
Well, I thank you for that. But to answer your question right quick, I do have now both of my grandparents on my father's side were actually teachers. My granddad, I think he was the first black teacher in Roanoke Public Schools back in like the 60s. He taught for a very long time, and then he became head of transportation under the governor at the time, Douglas Wilder, in Virginia. So yeah, like they kind of put that bug in me. And at one particular point in time, we had an ad agency I did, like when I was like in my early 20s. And I was thinking about having like a class to come in and teach kids certain things that I was doing. So I may do that one day.
Well, I think that would be fantastic because like I said, I had a teacher. His name was Mr. Weiss. I don't know if he's still living or not, but I learned things in that class that I never learned, about. He was a history teacher, and he taught us about things I never heard before because, my parents were Democrats, and they were very liberal. And I don't know, I would assume he was a Republican, but maybe he wasn't, because there were many Democrats, decades ago who were very conservative. So I really don't know. But I remember, this was in the 80s. I remember him talking to us about Jane Fonda one day. And he went on, a big rant, but it was every day, every person in that classroom was riveted to this guy. I mean, he talked all about Jane Fonda, and things about Jane Fonda I never knew before, because all I knew about Jane Fonda were her workout tapes and her movies. That's all I knew about her. And he was telling us about Vietnam and what she did there, and he said, I wouldn't buy any of her workout tapes. I hope you don't. And we were laughing because I wouldn't imagine him buying any of her workout tapes. But then I found out, as time went on, when I became an adult, that what he was saying was true. Like so many times I see what's going on, especially in the last, 10 or so years, that everything he was saying was true. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but anyhow, I really called to talk about vaping.
Okay.
Because you, ABL, you were talking about vaping the other day in one of your videos, and you're one of the, I don't know, it seemed like a lot of the conservative, Republican, or however they describe themselves, YouTubers, were very against Donald Trump talking about vaping and wanting to ban the flavors of the e-cigarettes. And I'm completely for that. And I understand the issue about liberty and freedom and all that. But there are some things that should be banned, correct?
Yes.
I mean, would you agree with that?
Yes.
And for me, I was a smoker, and I started smoking when I was a kid. I started smoking when I was about 13 or 14 years old. I first tried it when I was 13, and I was definitely smoking by the time I was 14. I quit about, 19 years ago, 20 years ago. So I smoked for a total of about 10 years, I would say, 10, 15 years. Very hard habit to start, cigarettes. I mean, it's awful when you first try it, and then it's even more difficult to quit. And I say, I know what's going on with the e-cigarettes, and since, then I am a teacher, but I've been home since my kids were born, but I was a teacher at one time. My husband's a teacher. I have school-age children. One is in middle school. My nieces and nephews are teenagers or young adults. And it's a big problem, in the schools. The kids are sneaking it in the bathrooms, and it doesn't have an odor, or it has a very undetectable odor.
Yeah.
And it's nicotine, and from what I understand, the nicotine is much stronger in the e-cigarettes than regular cigarettes. And it seemed like there was a lot of progress made up until 7 years ago, where because smoking has become somewhat socially unacceptable, fewer and fewer kids are getting hooked on nicotine because of that. And then all of a sudden, the Juul came out, and all these other brands came out, and obviously they're marketed for kids.
Yeah, and then I got to add one thing here. Juul is in part owned by Big Tobacco. So, Big Tobacco is trying to get in through the back door. Now, I think what Trump said recently after he said what he said about vaping is that he definitely wants to get the counterfeit cartridges off of the market, but he appreciates what vaping can do for some people that may use it to wean themselves off of cigarettes, because they said that during the press conference. They were like, okay, some people are using this, adults, they're using it to get off of regular cigarettes. But the problem is that a lot of these little devices are being marketed towards kids intentionally through the back door by Big Tobacco, which is the problem. So we just got to work that whole thing out to keep these out of the hands of kids.
Right. And I was really confused when I was hearing some other YouTubers talk about, oh, this is so silly, why is the president trying to impede on our freedoms? And I respect that. If people believe that, I respect that. But I see it from a point of view as a former smoker who started when I was a kid, and it wasn't easy. I mean, what was, motivating kids to smoke when I did was to be cool, to be in with the cool crowd, to be, to look more grown up doing it and whatever. And, I don't know what it is now, because it looks horrible. Do you ever see someone smoke these e-cigarettes? It looks so stupid to me. It looks ridiculous.
Well, see, for me, I'm kind of biased because I don't do any of that. I don't smoke, drink, nothing. So for me, I don't, I'm always a kind of person that's like kind of anti-drug. So that's just me in general.
Right. Yeah, I understand, but my point of view is like I'm not into banning, I'm not into boycotting, but when it comes to our kids, when something is obviously marketed toward kids, you don't see adults unless they're trying to quit smoking. I've never met any adults. I know a few adults who are using the e-cigarettes, but they're doing it because they're trying to get off of regular cigarettes.
Correct.
I never met an adult who all of a sudden woke up one day, it's like, I'm going to try this e-cigarette thing. I might be 45 years old, but I think I'm going to try the e-cigarette. I never met anyone like that.
Right.
Never met anyone like that.
Right. I'm right there with you. Well, I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure talking to you.
All right, now, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate it. And shout out to everybody in the room. Shout out to RKTNN. I appreciate you guys. That's Randall K. Taylor. You guys came into the chat, and shout out to that channel over there for sending you guys over here. I appreciate you. Welcome. If you're a first-time viewer, go ahead and subscribe. Right now, what you're watching is ABL Live. This is a call-in show. You're welcome to call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. The number will be in the description box and also right here in the ticker at a certain point in time. And if you want to get in through Skype, you can do that by the email in the description box below. You could be right here on the bottom right-hand corner. I can hear you through audio. You could be seen on video if you like. But let me get to my next call, and that will be 401. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to David. And nice meeting you. And I would like to talk about the House Dem debate and also banter with you a little bit since I'm a libertarian on the vaping ban.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
All right, so the Democratic debate on Houston, I don't really think it particularly shifted or anything, but on anything compared to the past two debates. But I would like to give you a little bit of some analysis and see what you think about it. But I don't really understand the purpose of the Democratic Party moving left. If we remember from the 2016 election, you really had a two-way race between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And you remember you had Jim Webb, Martin O'Malley, and Lincoln Chafee, which dropped out literally within like the first 2 months of the election.
Yeah, they had no chance at all. Like everybody knew that it was between Bernie and Hillary.
Yeah. So but if you keep in mind, if you remembered Hillary Clinton's approval and disapproval rating, I do think Joe Biden is stronger than Hillary Clinton, and let me explain. Is that Hillary Clinton, although she did have the name recognition and the brand, if you remember that, she also had an extremely high disapproval rating, similar to the levels of Donald Trump, up there mid 50%, even low 60 percentile at the same time. So she wasn't very broad outside of the Democratic Party, unlike Joe Biden, who doesn't have that disapproval rating. And if you remember that, even though the DNC was biased towards Bernie Sanders with the hits and giving Hillary Clinton with questions, she still came out with more popular votes in the Democratic primary than Bernie Sanders. But now, basically, if you could replace Joe Biden with Hillary Clinton, and what you have is effectively a candidate with a lower disapproval rating, so technically more broader appeal, and should be able to pick up more primary Democratic voters than Bernie Sanders, who is essentially the same, and Elizabeth Warren, who also shares most of the votes as Bernie Sanders. They're very overlapped in terms of ideologically on the spectrum. So I don't see, even if you combine Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, they're both down in the primary. So you should expect both of them together to perform at a similar level to Bernie Sanders did in 2016.
Okay, now I think that the ratings at this point are kind of meaningless, especially when you're talking about like right now during the election. It's almost similar to the polls. I know it's not the same number, but it's kind of meaningless because when you actually go out there and you're on the campaign trail, especially if it gets to the point where Biden becomes a nominee and you have to be doing these events and you got to do things that you have to compete with Trump directly on stage, it'll be horrible for Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton was stronger because she had a better presence on stage. People people would want to see Hillary Clinton on stage more than Joe Biden. Although they were really kind of both not very good on stage, Hillary Clinton was better. I did not see Hillary Clinton searching for words and teeth almost falling out of her mouth. You know, I saw her looking kind of dizzy on certain, occasions, but I never saw her not be able to speak on stage. She may have coughed a few times, but as far as what Joe Biden is doing, I didn't see that. So from the on stage performance, I think she would be looked at as much stronger than he is. He'll look much weaker than she was.
Yeah, they're both gonna look weak, but remember that Hillary Clinton had the email baggage basically, and some people just fundamentally couldn't overlook that and also the fact that she got dumped by Jim Comey. She was like corruption. That was her biggest thing. That in the foreign policy with the no fly zone in Iraq, I believe.
Yeah.
Those are like, even those people who are like Trump populists, who are sort of like anti-interventionists, like couldn't get over that. Like even if they were like in the middle, like that was like breaking the straw. But like Joe Biden doesn't have those. So I know they both are gonna lose anyway. So like I'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna move on to the second issue. Second point about the vaping, if that's enough time allowed it, if that's with you.
Go ahead, go for it.
So the vaping, I'm kind of against the ban. I know that the cartridges and the different flavors do seem appealing. I know it's more of a generational thing. Like I know the previous lady said that people who are like in their early 40s don't go into vaping, like e-cig. I'm 21. Like I'm like in college right now. Like I'm surrounded out that, like the cannabis and stuff. I don't do it, but like it's just something that's like a generational thing. Like I don't really understand it because like it's more of a cultural thing, and I know that like the kids are gonna get it regardless. Because like think about it, like I'm in college, like I wasn't able to drink or something, but like we just get someone who's like a senior who's 21 to get like the alcohol, or something like that, and like even though you're not technically legal, it's just that like it's just going around about it, and I think that's like the same thing. Like I do recognize that like I think they shouldn't like have like cartoons or explicitly, but I think it could just be like regulations that they say that doesn't look so appealing to children. Because other reasons why people like to use flavored vaping, it's not necessarily because it's better or worse or anything. It's just that like smoking like a cherry flavored vape or something is more appealing to, it's less annoying to other people around it because it smells pleasant.
Now, yeah, I think one thing they could do definitely is regulate some of the marketing. They did the same thing with the tobacco industry with actual cigarettes. You can't market in magazines. You can't buy any magazine ads, no billboards, no TV commercials. Mm-hmm. And the same thing needs to be done with the vaping industry as far as in-store stuff, because they make the stuff look so appealing and marketable towards kids. And Juul is really the culprit here. Juul owns 75% of the vaping market, and 35% of Juul is owned by Altria, which is big tobacco. So that's the problem. And then also the counterfeit cartridges that come from overseas, China and whatnot, the THC cartridges that are getting a lot of people sick. You got like 400 so-called mystery illness, people dying. A lot of that is from the counterfeit stuff. So you have a couple of things: people getting injured, and also the children that are being marketed to intentionally by big tobacco. So if you can get rid of those things right there, then I wouldn't ban vaping and order flavors. But you got to get those things under control first, in my opinion.
Well, how about you just like raise the age to like 21 or something? I don't know. To buy purchases like vape cartridges.
Well, but the thing is, they're getting these cartridges like on the internet. So it's like, how do you really regulate that? I'm not really sure. But definitely in-store stuff, the way that...
Isn't it similar to like purchasing like gun firearms, like online? Like you have to show ID, give them a state ID that's registered, you know? Like, because like we're saying...
Yeah, I mean... But see, the thing is, they're not getting those from like legitimate sources. Like you can buy stuff online, like gun parts that's not legitimate if you look hard enough. I mean, you can go to jail for that, obviously. If you're able to find some gun parts online that's not like going to ship to a FFL where you got to show your license and whatnot and go pick it up there and fill out a form and all that. If you're doing something like that, that's illegal. I think that's what's happening right now with the THC cartridges that come from China. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody could tell me in the chat.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. This is my second time. I tried to call you last Saturday because but you said my quality was bad, so I don't know.
Oh, it's all good now. You get to go now. Sound perfect, man. So I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. So nice talking to you. I'll call again.
All righty.
My first time.
All righty.
Take care.
Take care. All right. Shout out to the call. I most certainly appreciate him. Sound was there. Sound was all good there. But yeah, you can buy guns online, but you can't get them sent to your house. You can buy stuff online. You can buy some guns online. Yeah, like the store I go to has an online site, but you can't like get it shipped to your house. You got to get it shipped to an actual gun store, or FFL. Somebody that has a federal firearms license. Like you can't just like there's no Amazon where you could just go and have a gun shipped to your house in 2 days. No, that's not how that works. You can buy it online and go to the gun store, background check, ID, form, all that, and pick it up there. But you can't have it shipped to your house. That's not if you're doing something like that, then you're doing something illegal. That's like buying drugs or something like that, basically. Alrighty. You can send parts to your house. Yeah, there you go. Okay. What's up, man? J-Bone says you can send parts to your house, but you can't send, like, I could buy a scope or something like that, but maybe even, I think maybe the upper, or is it the lower? You probably can't get a lower. You probably cannot buy a lower, have it sent to your house, but other parts you can have and get sent to your house. But the actual pew part, no. That's going to have a serial number on it, and you got to have that shipped to FFL. But let me get to my next call. 214, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, is this ABL?
Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to?
This is Malika Koji from Dallas, Texas.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, man. I'm really excited to be talking to you. First of all, are you going to the Black Leadership Summit in D.C. on October 3rd?
I will be there. I already got my room booked, got my flight booked. I'm looking forward to it. I will be there.
Yeah, I booked my flight last night. Yeah, man. So hopefully I'll definitely see you there. So, but yeah, man. I'm 21, out of Dallas, Texas, and growing up, I grew up in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I guess the previous caller, he was actually from Rhode Island. Kind of spammed the chat because that was exciting. You don't really see a lot of people from that state calling in, but my perspective on politics is kind of different. In the fact of, so I grew up in, like the woman said before, our previous caller, a very liberal household. I had an immigrant father, and then my mom was just a mom. So the day after my 18th birthday, I moved to Texas and by myself, and moved into like a upper middle class white community, and just realized everything I was told was pretty much a lie via, racial tension. So my question to you is, being an articulate, black man that was obviously raised well with good principles and things like that, what do you like? What is your view on the reason why our country is so divided? I know obviously it's kind of a no-brainer. Like I already really know the answer, but I mean I don't get to talk to ABL every day, so I want to ask that question.
Well, okay. I think one thing is that the perception of our country is not the same thing as what it actually is. The perception on the outside, or at least, if you watch the media, the personalities be on there talking about there's so much racial division and so much tension, all these little problems going on. But I think the problem was overblown. Yes, there is some division, but I don't think it's really that bad. Social media kind of enhances it. You might have a cousin that you don't like, and you talking about you support Trump, and then they hate you, and a lot of that is just kind of like empowered by social media. Some people want to take it offline and try to have a debate with you there, but I think all of it is just overblown. Really, it's not as bad, but the division that does exist is because people just can't get along with each other, and that ain't nothing really new. There's always been that going on, and if there's anything else that is more than what it was before, it's the media drumming it up. People watching the news, they believe in it, they believe in what the media says about the country, and then they go out there and act it out. So I think that causes division right there, where there was none before, where it's not really any in everyday walking life. When you go to the grocery store, I mean, people are not just in the aisle fighting over the tomatoes and the ketchup and the lettuce. That's not really going on. They're just going to get their stuff, going about their day. People still open the door for old ladies and whatnot. That's still generally how things are going. But people sometimes buy into social media and the media in general, thinking that we're divided and acted out.
Right. So to touch upon what the guy said before me about the whole vaping, I think I'm talking about the Rhode Island guy when he said that a lot of the reason why people, younger age people are vaping, it's just because it's cool, which is very true. Another thing is, I know when I was younger, and I'm like you, I don't smoke, I don't drink, those types of things. But how true do you think it is that a big reason why people vape at a younger age is because of the fact that they can't buy it themselves? So it's kind of like the rebellion where I can't do it myself, so I'm going to go do it anyways. Not because I want to do it, just because I can't, and I want, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that could be part of it, but it's also a thing that's like made to be cool. You got these people on Instagram doing tricks and stuff with the vaping, and a lot of times these people are paid by Big Tobacco, by the way, to do this stuff. They're kind of young and young looking because they're marketing towards young people. So I've worked in marketing. I'm a marketer by nature. I know what they're doing. They're using these Instagram influencers. They're having certain things be named a certain way to appeal to the younger market, and it's working. Marketing at a certain point does work. That's all that's really going on, because you can't get heroin either, but anybody just going to say, hey, I'm going to go shoot some heroin in the street because I can't get it. No, heroin is not marketed as a cool thing to do, but vaping is.
Absolutely. Last question before obviously I get off here, because we've been talking for about 5 minutes. So as far as college goes, I know college, the way it kind of looks, right, when we had the .com burst and then we had the housing market burst, it was always because there was an influx of money going in and not enough people couldn't really pay it off, right? So as far as college goes, do you think that's the next thing to go as far as a burst in the coming years?
What do you mean burst? I'm not really sure.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, what do you mean by burst?
Okay, so obviously most people go to college off the financial aid, which is given to them by the government. Mm-hmm. Most colleges take advantage of that because obviously they're not paying. Normal people aren't paying for it. The government is. And it's kind of like, it's not invisible money, but at the same time, it's not like hard cash, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the government's pretty much giving you credit to go to college, even though you really can't afford it. Like most people that go to college can't afford it because it's super expensive. Like I was going to go to TCU and take out like $180,000 in loans.
Lord have mercy. Degree. Good grief. $180,000.
Yes. It was, and then I realized, you know what, that's not smart. I'm going to be paying off my kids. My kids going to be paying off. That's how long it's going to take.
Right.
Absolutely. So as far as that, obviously that poses a huge, I'm not going to say risk, but that's just huge. I mean, do you think college is going to be the next thing to explode like the housing market and the .com, or am I kind of crazy thinking that?
I mean, it could. That's possible. But see, the difference between college and the other things is that people sometimes...
And banking industry and individual fraud, like issues, not necessarily the government.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult there. I mean, the government are backing these loans. I don't know. It could be something that really blows up, but I'm not really sure. I don't really know how that's going to work, but it could happen. I think before it happens, you're going to have college get to the point where it's really unaffordable. So it's like, it's ridiculous. People just, the loans, you may not be able to get as much money to cover your education, and it still may be high. It may just really inflate a lot. But as far as any kind of bubble bursting, that could happen, but I'm not really sure.
Right. Absolutely. Well, with that being said, man, I'll see you in a few weeks, and God bless, man. Take care.
right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to all you guys that are watching. If you in the chat, please no cursing because the Google moderators come in here and they just get all on my business. So please no cursing in the chat. And I thank you in advance. But thank you to the super chatters as well. Shout out to Aretta Shid who says, I know but your name and I'm sorry. She says, my ABL t-shirt came in the mail today. Looks great. I enjoy your videos and live show. Nice to have an interactive platform for a free thought discussion. It's how we learn and understand each other with the heart emoji. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. I'm glad you got the shirt and everything looks good. Shout out to my Teespring store. If anybody wants any merchandise, a link for my Teespring store is in the box. I also have a carousel of items up under the video. All of that is from my store, including these hats and whatnot. If you want these flags on the wall, which are 100% American, homemade, wooden, beautiful, a link for that will be in the box as well. But shout out to my man Sushi who says, ABL, what's your take on PewDiePie planning on giving $50,000 to the ATL, then canceling his donation? Do you think it was because of fan backlash? Just curious on your thoughts on the ATL. That whole thing just seems kind of weird. I've been watching that. I'm just really confused as to what's going on. Like, why would he give the money in the first place and then take it back? I mean, I just don't understand. PewDiePie is not a dumb person. He would know that some people are not going to like him doing that, giving money to the ATL. As far as my thoughts on him, I don't know a lot about him, honestly. I know that a lot of people say that the ATL is doing this and doing that, but I'm not really sure what the ATL does that is like more than any other group like that. Like, why is it specifically them that are like the bad guys? You know, I think a lot of these groups do things that aren't good, but why them specifically? But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to my man Carl's Opinion who says, at David Ray, I was at a street corner with this other guy. The light turned green. I was getting ready to cross, but stopped to light my cigarette. The other guy crossed and got hit by a car. What do you say to that? But I got to put it in context. Before that, he said, at David Ray, cigarettes are healthy for you. Look it up, Carl. And then he said that. And he also says, cool people smoke cigarettes. Look it up, Carl. And he also says, hey, Mr. Logan, mods in chat. Carl, hey, I appreciate that 100%. Shout out to Jeff Kodart who says, so glad I found your channel. Thanks for what you do. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you and for your very kind words. Shout out to Jake C who says, hello, ABL. How are you doing today? Everything is great over here. Just enjoying the show, interacting with the fans. And shout out to Zelda Thomas who says, love from RKTNN. Thank you guys coming from RKTNN. I most certainly appreciate you guys coming into the room. If you're not subscribed already, please do so and like the video. Helps me out tremendously. But let me get to my next call. 269, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this be Uncle Reggie. What's going on, ABL? How you been?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Man, I got a hard echo in there. You hear me okay?
I hear you just fine.
All right, man. I want to get on this football player, this Huffman guy. I want to get on a little bit on that action and talk about the clown car. It's got a flat tire. They're riding on the rim.
Pretty much.
Yeah. As far as the this Huffman guy, this football player guy goes, right? He staged a fake hate crime, Jussie Small style, except with no victims.
You said what now?
What I'm under. Yeah, there was really no victims. Just pretty much his business, right? His little pastry chef and.
Oh yeah, nah. He just the only victim was his shop, his poor little bakery shop that got cut up and beat down and stuff like that. But no actual human beings got hurt in the process.
Wasn't he like a middle linebacker or something? Was that his position?
Nah, he like a big boy. Like I think he was a little bit too big to be middle linebacker. Like he might have been on a line, like you know. A lane clogger or something like that, basically.
Oh, okay. Because I know it wasn't a center. I played a little bit of football, but the thing is, who wants to buy cookies from a linebacker or maybe a tight end? Tight end, you'd buy a cookie from a creamery.
Right. I mean,
but this is a family show, so I'll digress. It's a family show.
Right. There you go.
Okay. So I don't get. He hoisted some TVs and What the maintenance guy? The maintenance guy turned him in, huh?
Yeah, the maintenance guy saw him. Like he didn't see the football player. He just saw this black truck randomly, and then I guess he might have heard some commotion, a little kerfuffle brewing in the actual bakery shop because the dude snatched TVs off the wall. I'm talking about mounting brackets and all. So I mean, he was really doing a number on his own shop. So he may have heard that, and then also saw the black truck. So the maintenance man is right there, sees the truck, calls the police. The police are nearby. They spot the truck from a distance. So, I mean, everybody already saw him. He might as well done that in broad daylight because everybody saw him do it, basically.
Yeah, controversial. Hey, I went into his Wikipedia file and I edited the content in his Wikipedia file just for the. So you're welcome, America.
Wow. Okay. Anybody want to see that? Go check it out.
I kept it clean. I said the police were involved, and there was reportedly, and I used the word allegedly. So we got to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So I edited the way at the bottom there. So you guys can all take a look at his Wikipedia file. It has been updated as of yesterday. Well, actually this morning. So there's that. The clown car emptied into Texas. Apparently. So they're basically wanting to take guns, orange man and white man bad, and what else? The teeth thing. Yeah, we don't make fun of Joe Biden's teeth. That's juvenile.
Yeah, I mean, hey, them teeth were done with the debate. It was like, okay, this is too much BS being spoken right here. We're going to be out. He just saved them at the last minute so they didn't escape. So hey.
I'm trying not to laugh, but I couldn't hold it in.
They were trying to escape, and he didn't let them do it. That's what happened.
Yeah. No, please don't tell me I followed Randall, because that guy, that's a tough act to follow there, right there. I catch his shows all the time. RKTNN or whatever, RKNN.
Mm-hmm. No,
yeah.
I don't think he was on. I think people that came from his show came into here, so I was just giving them a shout out.
Oh, all right. He was just in the chat room. I've seen someone shouting out. I figured, when I was calling in, I was just checking out the chat because I can't do two things at once. Right. I can't catch the show and watch, but I can watch the chat.
Right.
So, which is weird. Anyway, shout out to Randall too. I'm starting my own. I'm rebranding my channel. It's going to be a little bit different. I just got a job beekeeping. You know how I am about my bees. So. I'll be putting more clothes on from now on for my videos.
Yeah, you got to do that, man, because we trying to see you get Africanized honeybees all up in your personal areas,
Oh yeah, no, the jumblies. Yeah, no, we can't have the jumblies all swole up. Well, you know what? That might be an improvement.
Okay, all right, all right, we got it.
I'll get a job at Chippendales if that happens.
Wow.
Yeah. All right there, ABL. You have a blessed day, and try to keep the gloves up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, boy.
No doubt, man. Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
You bet. Much love, everybody. Check me out, Uncle Reggie, over here on... Hey, everybody click them thumbs up, too, and those likes and the shares. This is a shareable video.
There it is. Absolutely,
Family-friendly. Family-friendly.
100%.
All right, boss.
All right,
take it easy. Peace.
All right, thank you so much, man. Uncle Reggie, not my uncle, that's his name, Uncle Reggie, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And let me get to my next call here. Let's go to. All right, hold on. Let's go to 501. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, 501. Who am I speaking to?
You're breaking up real bad.
It's not me. I don't know what's going on. Am I still breaking up?
Okay, no, I hear you now. You just sell out to pander to white.
Okay, we got the drunk guy calling again. Hey, kids, don't drink and dial. It's not really good for you. Okay, let me just go ahead and get to my next call here. Give me 1 second, you guys. I gotta just tighten myself up. And I think we can go ahead and do that. There we go. All right. Shout out to all the callers. Appreciate you guys for calling on in. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me go ahead and get to my next call. All righty, Jordan, what's going on?
Nothing much. Yourself?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
What's up with your mic, man? I'm hearing echo like crazy.
I don't know what's happening.
All right, that's fine. So the debates. You know, my brother. I live in Houston, Texas. You know that, right?
Yeah.
My older brother, actually went to the debate.
Oh, really?
Oh, your mic is better, by the way.
Okay, I fixed it.
Yeah. But yeah, my older brother went to the debate. And saw them. He was on the top left corner. He thought that was pretty interesting. Can you hear me?
Like he was actually at the debate. He was in the top left.
He was at there. He
okay.
He went to TSU at college.
Oh, okay. So like, was he was on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You might not see him, but you know, he was there. Hold up. Speaking of which, TSU is playing football right now, and they're getting obliterated by their opponents. So if you want to check that out, you can. Just type in TSU football game. They're playing against Louisiana Lafayette. So there's that.
Right.
But I want to ask you something about Yang's plan to give Houstonians, Houston families, $1,000 a month, pretty much $120,000 for 10 families in Houston.
Yeah.
That was what it was. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was just Houston, but he did say that amount of money for 10 families.
Okay. There was a couple of problems I have with that. The first one is he initially said that it would be $10,000. Well, it would be $1,000 per adult, not $1,000 per family. That was something that I noticed, but that's not the real issue. Mm-hmm. The real issue is there's a word that's being passed around to what Andrew Yang might be doing. It starts with the letter B. And ends with,
George, your mic kind of like fell out.
Is it working now?
Hold on. Can you just keep talking? Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right. But there's a word that's going around to describe what Andrew Yang might be doing. It starts with the letter B and rhymes with library. You know what it is?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Hopefully your chat can get it. It's bribery.
Bribery and library is kind of a reach for rhyming, but I'll let you get away with that one. Right. I'll let you get away with that one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't. That's actually not legal to buy votes. You can't do that. That's why people were trying to, defend him, talking about, I pay the money. I think it might have been Elon Musk that said he'll pay the money rather than having Yang Gang do it. But I'm not sure if that could be considered money laundering. I don't know how that really works, but we'll move on. Yeah, that's definitely what it seems like.
It does seem like that because there was a guy from the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, trying to defend Yang. He said that his contest doesn't appear to be violating any campaign laws for finance, and that you don't have to donate a cent, which is okay, that's fine. And then he said, nor is Yang bribing people to vote for him. The winner can vote for any candidate. Since the purpose behind the payout appears to be making a point about policy, it's not illegal. And the freedom dividend will come out of Yang's own bank account. It is a personal gift. And it's weird because if you were bribing someone, you wouldn't be pretty obvious with what you were trying to do. Like you wouldn't be giving people money and saying, "Hey, here's I'll give you money if you do this for me." They would be a little more sketchy than that. And so I wouldn't know what the whole issue is with why he's defending him like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of sketchy to me. I think if it's somebody on the left, if it was a person on the right that was doing this, it might not necessarily be seen the same way. So it's pretty interesting to see that defense be thrown out there.
Yeah, because it's like if wouldn't it defeat the purpose if you give people this dividend and they don't vote for you or they just don't care about your plan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know if they're going to allow him to do this. It's just I don't think I don't know, man. This just seems so bad that we're actually offering people money to vote for candidates openly, and it's fine.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. People are teasing me over the rhyme. Yes, I know. I screwed that one up. I'm sorry. I should have done something better. I wasn't thinking straight. Okay. I'll try better next time. All right.
There it is.
But also, do you know the news about Chelsea Handler?
No, what happened?
She's making a whole documentary about white privilege. I think she's going across the country and apologizing for her white privilege.
Yeah, I saw that. That was absurd. But hey, that's the new wave nowadays. You can go out there as a white person and say, "Hey, I'm sorry for being white," and make money off of it. You can get attention that way.
That's the real white privilege right there.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Hey, that's a good point. The real white privilege is being able to go across country and say, "I'm sorry for being white," and get paid to say that. That is just hilarious.
That's great. It's amazing, man. It's so I never thought we would reach that point, but I mean, hey, we're at it. Because in the end, she's still going to be rich, and the people she's virtue signaling for will still be poor.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. About the hot mic incident with Marianne Williamson. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm surprised that somebody like her would say that since she's pretty, far left, but I think she's come to realize that maybe the people who she's with are not actually friends of hers. I'm pretty sure, like, if I was trying to debate a hardcore leftist, I would try to be respectful. Because I know that doing things like interrupting or making jokes or making insults and stuff isn't going to actually get anything productive. And I'm tired of doing that sometimes. So, I'll try to listen in, but apparently the left can't do the same, even to their own people.
That's right.
Yeah, it's something noticeable. And the fake hate crime, man. The all these hate crimes, man. The more I'll say this right quick, then I'll head out. But all of these hate crimes that are coming out that end up possibly being falsified, it's funny that those are the ones that get the most attention compared to ones that are real.
That's right. Yeah.
That's not going to look good when people are analyzing hate crimes. It's just not going to look good. It's not.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna review my rhymes and head to bed because I screwed that one up pretty bad. So I'll talk to you later, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Peace.
Peace. All right, thank you to my man Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. 256 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Alex from Alabama.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not too much. I actually just had a question about college. What do you think about I know it would cost, tax money and everything, but what do you think about like an option of college? Like, say there would still be private colleges, there would still be the colleges that are already in place, but allowing people to have a tax-paid government option, something that would be more free and stuff. Not more free, but it'd be. Again, I know it's tax paid, but it would be a cheaper or a free option.
So, like, what you mean, like a different school to go to, or how would this work?
Well, I mean, I guess it would be, they'd probably have to build stuff like, they'd have to build their own colleges and stuff, but it would be, it'd basically just be a whole other sets of colleges that would be ran by the government, and they would pay, the workers accordingly and stuff, but it would be just an option rather than having to only pick from the colleges that are already in place who charge, so much.
Nah, I think there's already a good infrastructure that exists of colleges. There's probably too many of them that are already here right now. And a lot of them are kind of funded by the government through the student loan process. So I don't know if that's really going to work. And if it was only just the government and no student funding at all, nothing like that, no alumni funding, then I think you will have the same thing as K through 12. K through 12 is having a lot of issues right now. Public K through 12, that's all government funded, and you got a lot of people that graduate from K through 12 that can't read. I'm talking about they passed every class. They weren't problem children, but they graduated and can't read. So, I mean, I think
I got you.
that the vision for that would be already seen in K through 12.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. There's definitely the need for something to be changed as goes public education and stuff, K through 12 particularly. But what also, like, do you think about the possibility of, like, there being government hospitals, like allowing there to be private hospitals, and the hospitals are already in place, but having a place that you could go to that would be, again, not, if it ain't free, then it's a way cheaper option. Because, like, usually, like, say you go to the ER or something like that, they'll fix you up for what they can do right there, but they'll usually say go to see a specialist. And it's always that go see a specialist that a lot of people can't afford.
I don't know about that. I would prefer that not to be. I'll prefer there not to be a government-run hospital. We already see examples of that. That's called the VA. You have some good VA hospitals, but you got some very bad ones. And the incentive to do better and to have higher performance and any kind of innovation in your hospital is lessened due to the fact that you're going to get paid regardless of what is run by the government. But if you're an independent hospital and you got to compete with other hospitals for certain programs, specialists and whatnot, then you're going to tend to perform better. And I don't know about you, but I think that a better performing hospital would be a good option. I think programs like Medicare, Medicaid are good for those that are elderly and are truly disabled. But people that are able-bodied, illegal, and stuff like that don't need to be on those programs, nor should they be going to any kind of government-funded hospital at all.
Right. Well, I mean, I get, like, the whole quality thing, but, I mean, I think, we could probably also, just like there needs to be something done differently about K through 12 education, I think, like, we could just hold ourselves to higher standards. Say if there's a doctor who, just because he's on a government payroll, he still needs to perform and do a decent job, or else, they'd need to get out.
Right. I'm right there with you.
I guess
agree.
I guess that's it. I guess just getting your options or getting your opinion, seeing what you think about it and everything.
Well, I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. You're doing good, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, you guys said community college. Community college, that's a very good option for a lot of people, and it's inexpensive to go. Sometimes you're able to get Pell Grants and whatnot. That's where I went for my first couple of years. I had a Pell Grant, I think, for 1 semester or 2 semesters, and then the first semester I paid for out of my own pocket with my money I had from my summer job. I was 17. I was working at Old Country Buffet. I saved the money I had in the summer and paid for my whole first semester, paid for my books, all of that. It was only like $800 or something. I mean, I had that just from my summer money. Like working for $6.50 an hour, I was able to pay that in cash. And it wasn't no big deal. And it was good for me. It worked out well for me. Nippin, what's going on?
Not much. Thought I'd never get on.
You're on now, so what's going on?
Well, Brexit. That's what's going on. That's all I have to say.
Hold on. Before you start, I got a lot of background static. Like, what's going on?
Oh, it was your live stream.
No.
It's muted now.
I hear static like right now.
Oh, it's my table fan.
Yeah, turn it off for me, please. There we go. Much better.
Yeah, I was feeling a little warm.
All right, it's all good now. So, you talking about Brexit?
Yeah, that's about it on my end. Now, the Democratic debate. In my opinion, there were no winners.
Yeah, I agree. Or if there was a winner, how about Donald Trump himself?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, history shows that incumbents are 75% likely to get re-elected. The last president to not get re-elected was Bush Sr. And that's because he broke a promise. a huge promise.
And you had Ross Perot in there, who took a lot of votes away from him that he would have gotten if he wasn't there, if Ross Perot was not there.
He would have lost either way because of the vote, because of what he.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know what I'm.
Yeah.
Well, the only way. Well, not now, but the only way I could have seen President Trump losing is if he'd done something similar to HW, which is touchwood he's not doing.
Right.
So yeah, that's the only way I see. Well, I would have seen him losing, is if he had broken his campaign promises in 2016. That's the only way I would have seen him lose in 2020.
Right.
Someone in the comments just said, Nippon is Trump in disguise. Well, maybe I am.
Hey, you never know, man.
Maybe I am Donald Trump. Maybe I'm just taking up a different pseudonym.
That's right. You never know.
Yeah. So yeah. I actually thought the live stream of the Democratic debate was instead of this.
You thought that the debate live stream was the show?
I thought it would replace the call-in show.
Oh no, because that was on Thursday. So nah, we still doing this. We still going.
Okay, so yeah, fake hate crimes. Apparently, someone is boosting up fake hate crimes.
Yeah, this guy in Atlanta decided that he wanted to wreck his own store and draw all kind of so-called racist graffiti on it with, and then he got caught literally black-handed because the spray paint that he used got on his hands and the police saw it. He also ripped TVs. He ripped TVs out the wall and then put them in the back of his pickup truck with the bed open so anybody could just run up on him and look at it clear as day. It's like, come on. What are we doing?
That was an idiot move. I mean, no one in the right mind, or no one even who wants to be a criminal would do that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so silly. But that tells you that there's such a lack of people that actually want to engage in hate crimes on the right that the left got to make it up.
Yeah, and then they're claiming that the white right did it.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're claiming. But it always seems to be a different thing that is the reality of the situation.
Yeah, and Felicity Huffman is now in jail for 14 days.
Yeah. Yep, she got 14 days. People were saying that the sentence was too light, but I don't really know. I think that she probably could have got more time, but I think it was probably appropriate considering what she did, because she pled guilty, number one. Number two, she had no criminal record, and number three, she had money and a celebrity. So that's probably the three main things that got her to get to 14 days rather than some long amount of time. And the crime, what she did was she paid somebody or that company, that the so-called consulting company, $15,000 to have somebody take the SAT test in place of her daughter. So it wasn't like, somebody got beat up or robbed or anything like that.
But that's illegal.
Yes, it's
definitely. If anything, that won't benefit her daughter, because that will just make the other person more smart.
Well, yeah, of course. It embarrasses everybody, and it's illegal. And
apparently, I just found out that the person who staged the hate crime was a former NFL player.
Yeah, he played for the NFL. Yep, he's a big boy, offensive tackle, so he's a real big guy.
He's a paid activist. He's not the NFL. Has lost its credibility.
Well, he's formerly of the NFL. He didn't play since like 2016, so he probably was running low on cash, and was engaging in some insurance fraud to get that money in his pocket since ain't no more NFL checks coming in.
I mean, even then, like Colin Kaepernick, a few others I can't remember, like the NFL as a whole has become, it's lost its credibility as a sports business. It's become one giant activist sink show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your previous caller was talking about Chelsea Handler apologizing to be white.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you do not have to apologize for the skin color you were born.
That's right.
And I got some hate on the internet. Now, I'm a huge Disney fan, so I found a few pictures of a few Lion King characters as human beings. Now, I posted it onto a website, and they said, oh, shouldn't the lions be black because it's in Africa? Except, yeah, in a way, yes.
Wait. They said the lions should be black.
Yeah.
Lions are animals. They don't have no race. They're lions.
Their reasoning was, if they were humans, they're humans in Africa, and a lot of Africans are black. And I defended, but the artist wasn't doing it in terms of where they were geographically located. They were doing it based on the color of the lion's fur, which was white. Which was shock horror. It was yellow / white, whatever you.
Yeah,
it wasn't black.
It wasn't black. Yeah. That's.
I said that to them, but then they said, yeah, still. So they were trying to be so social justice.
Look, I'm gonna say this.
Lions are racist. Look, mermaids are racist.
Lions are animals. I mean, they're animals. Like if somebody draws them as a human, and they say, okay, we'll keep the same fur they had when they were animals, that's not somehow offensive. You're not going to just change the lion's fur because they're in Africa. I mean...
For example, the Simba, the main character, he had a red mane.
Yeah.
So the artist gave Simba red hair. So it only makes sense.
Yeah, it matches.
They make the fur the same color as...
It's like if you put on a suit, like a Halloween outfit of your character, and it's like a full body suit. It's not going to change. It's going to look like the character of your favorite show or whatever it is, just formed as a human being. That's pretty much all it is.
It's not going to stop. This social justice warrior trend over this thing. It's not going to stop. Like when I said, look, when it comes to Disney, lions are racist, mermaids are racist. They're just going to find something else. So, yeah, Genie from Aladdin, he was racist because they say, oh, it shouldn't be Will Smith.
That's so crazy, man. But
crazy.
It really is, man. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line. It's always good to talk to you, man. I thank you for the call.
Nice speaking to you too, ABL.
Always.
Yeah, I shall see you on Thursday.
Thursday your time, Wednesday my time.
Yeah, I shall see you then.
All right, see you then.
Peace.
All right, thank you to my man Nipper for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And no, it's not racist to show a lion as the same fur that it has. I mean, that's so silly. What are we gonna do? We gonna change polar bears to black bears because a polar bear is racist? I mean, I don't know, man. Let me get to my next call. Nolo King, what's happening?
Hey, man, not much. How are you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, man, before I begin, I got a gripe to pick with you, man.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
You got to stop hating on short people. I'm sick of hearing this, man.
Hey, it's not me. It's not me. Kamala Harris made a joke on stage. I was just pointing it out. That's all.
Man. You got to do better, man. I'm 5'6", and I'm sick of this, man. I'm tired. I'm going to end up breaking up a bagel store like that guy, man. I'm getting sick of this. This is why it annoys me, is because I'm being mentored right into a leadership position at my job, and
it was intimidating because the people who were mentoring me, I've been mentored by different general managers, right? And they tower over me. We're talking 6'3", 6'4", right? Even the one lady who was mentoring me was way taller than me. She used to work in a prison, and you know what I mean? And it made me feel really insecure because I see these guys towering up. How am I supposed to lead? And the thing that inspired me the most was this one guy, exact same height as me. And he's the best leader that I've ever met, right? He knows how to connect with people. He's not conceited. He has the skills. So I'm just saying, man, you got to stop being so shallow. That's all. I'm just going to put it out there.
Hey,
And
it ain't me, not my fault.
and the thing about it's not his height that bothered me. What's his name? Castro. It's he reminded me so much of Obama. I don't know if you noticed it, but his cadence and his mannerisms, it's like he's the Hispanic clone of Obama. It really creeped me out a little bit.
I didn't really see that because I did not pay him that much attention. But yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because a lot of people are trying to recapture that same energy that he had. So I wouldn't doubt it.
Just the way he spoke, and I observe these things because I love watching people communicate. Even you, like your style, the way you have that little bass in your voice and stuff like that. And about Marianne Wilson, that's the kind of thing that I think conservatives should be doing, is being the role model and not engaging in the way that the liberals are, because they can be very petty, very combative. Like an example I'll give you is I've been in discussion forums, really big discussion forums that are left-leaning, and I've gone in there, man, deep, like telling them that I'm into Trump, telling them I'm conservative, and the amount of heat that I got, it actually made me stronger, and it made people see it from my perspective, right? They start to see, you know what, maybe not all conservatives are crazy, because we're really at a point where the media is trying to make us look bad, and we have to be at a higher standard. We can't be giving in, because that's exactly what they want. Once we do that, they're going to say, look, that's how the conservatives are. A really good example I can give is my girlfriend. We were watching the debate. I believe it was the second one. And she's not into politics at all, right? But she heard Kamala Harris say, as a person of color. And I don't know, my girlfriend just freaked out and gave Kamala Harris the middle finger. So my point is, we need to show people what they really are, who the Democrats really are, because they're going to get that media spin. They're watching your MSNBCs, your CNN. That really woke me up, right? Like even my girlfriend, who hates talking about politics, she just heard that and she was outraged. She knew nothing about Kamala Harris, right? So that's what people need to see. These debates are really exposing them, like Beto O'Rourke and being a hypocrite. It's pretty crazy. And Bernie, I don't know what the heck was going on with his throat. Like, this guy needs to drink some ginger tea or something.
Seriously.
Yeah, but mainly jokes. Amazing Lucas. I was watching his video. He likes to roast people, and it hurt, man, because he said the same thing about short people we can't lead. And when you guys see me top CEO, you guys are going to be like, nah, ABL don't know what he's talking about. I'm representing. If you're 5'6", stand up tall, guys.
There it is.
It was a pleasure talking to you, ABL.
Thank you for the call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace.
All right. Shout out to all the short people out there. It's all good. I'm tall. I'm 6'3". So, but sometimes I don't want to be as tall because I kind of want to be low, but I can't because I stand out a lot. You hear my voice, you see me, I kind of stand out. It can be positive and negative. It can help when I'm trying to get things accomplished, especially when I'm in person, but it could be negative when I'm trying to stay low and stay undercover. I can't really do that. But shout out to everybody calling, and if you have just come into the stream, please like the stream. It helped me out tremendously. Let me get to my next call here. 786, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Mr. Logan. How you doing?
Everything's great. Can't complain.
Mr. Logan, I enjoyed the video you did from your car about asking should you be optimistic or pessimistic.
Yes.
I say optimistic. Just talking on the social media YouTube level, I've been, I'm watching the growth of your channel and others. And I've gone from not skipping the advertisement to wearing the T-shirts. I've got 2 of your T-shirts, and I got to the response, I tell you, just wearing your T-shirt, I think is interesting.
Okay, so what one do you have that gives you like interesting responses?
Trump, Pence,
Oh
20.
yeah.
Great. Yeah. I went through the ABL gear, and that's where my head is at. And I said, this is the one I'm going to wear. And it started out with, just the looks, interesting looks, confusing looks, like sisters wearing a Trump, Pence, 20 shirt.
That's right.
And and I tell you, I had to, well, just, I got my kitchen timer on. I'm not going to hold you. But I had I walk, and I had a business owner ask me about the shirt. And she was telling, she asked me, where am I from? And I said, well, South Florida. No, where are you from? And it wound up with her asking me, and I also had another business owner ask me if I was from the Caribbean or if I was from the West, anything but from the United States. So I thought that was interesting. But our conversation went to, she doesn't have many African Americans. I said I prefer Black Americans, but that who are Trump supporters. And then she asked me what I thought about the amendments. And I said, well, which one in particular? Well, those Reconstruction amendments, especially the 14th. And it's surprising, to have a conversation with someone who knows so much about our history. She's Asian American.
Wow.
And her comment was the 14th Amendment and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And she started telling me about, her history. But I thought that was interesting. And then I'll have, like, people just, as far as that shirt, I'm going into stores, and when you get the greeting when you come in, welcome to so and so, I'll actually have associates turn like, don't go to me, go to the other person. But I'm wearing it, yeah, and I've got two of them. Oh, and I'll just mention real quick, I got a second shirt as a gift in the mail. I don't know who sent that to me. I want to thank them, but. And I got two of them. I'm representing Georgia, red, black, and white, but I got to get it in blue because that response, I tell you, people are, Mr. Logan, I just see when it comes to 2020, when Americans are voting, when Black Americans are voting, we're going to surprise a lot of people. It's not going to be that 8% for Trump like it was. It's going to be higher. And, it's just it starts a conversation because the shirt isn't, just like a flag or something subtle. It's right out there. And I get the positive and the negative. I love it when I had a gentleman, like tip his cat and give me a smile like, okay. I caused a commotion at an intersection. I had, some people in the car just went a little crazy. But that, and just to mention, I'm gonna, my kitchen. Let me get the kitchen timer, timing the calls because I know you have a lot of calls coming. I noticed how, like with YouTubers, and I don't know if this is happening to you, but different things like with I had to go back and check the like button. I had to go back and check the subscribe button. I got hip to because I can't get your show when I can't get any live streamers but Magnificent, Kevin's Corner, and Randall Cunningham. I'll have to go back later and listen to, I just keep hitting redial, when I'm walking through the house to get your show. But even down to like autoplay, I got hip to using the autoplay, and then even with the autoplay, it wouldn't work. I saw where videos were being deleted And I don't know if, well, maybe it's the, the YouTuber or something deleting the videos. But one thing about the autoplay, or just when I hit autoplay, the subject matter, I may start with one YouTuber and it'll deal with the subject matter. Or I might get an Anthony Bryan, Anthony Logan marathon, or I could get a Jericho Green marathon. But I'm just going to wrap it up with, I know I had heard President Trump and Michael Cohen, that name associated in some way. When I hit the autoplay, I got a ABL marathon, and you did a video with this woman protecting Donald Trump's, the president's star on a walk of fame, an older woman, elderly, black.
Yeah.
And this was just like a couple of weeks ago during the autoplay. That older video came up, and at the end of the video, right before you went off, you said that President Trump had one of his attorneys, Michael Cohen, try and find the lady to contact her to help her. And I'm saying this guy is testifying how big a racist he is when when the president is sending him to help this homeless, elderly black woman who had been attacked by people who didn't support him. And I'm like, he's testifying how racist he is, but he's been asked to help. So I can see now why the older videos are being deleted. I'm like, I didn't delete that video. And when I would save them, hit like or watch later, those videos would be gone. And what I'm doing now to make sure I avoid that, I sent out Leo Johnson's Make Black America Great Again.
Yeah.
And I said, let me log this in to see how many people when I just send videos out. I sent that out to 19 people. I shared that. And I got back responses from like 8 of them. I think I may be getting a little bit too deep. My cousin told me I'm getting a little too radical. Don't wear that Keeping America Great Again shirt unless he's with me. But I'm going to wrap it up, Mr. Logan, that this is something is just happening that YouTube, Google, they can't stop this.
No, they can't.
They can't stop it, Mr. Logan. You've got information going out. You're educating people. People are talking. People are helping one another. People aren't putting up with that garbage. Look, if we can't have a conversation, if you want to talk about reparations, how about okay, you can talk about reparations. I'm going to talk about opportunity zones.
That's right. Yeah.
So I've learned to combat the conversations. I'm on a rant. It's your show. I'm not going to hold you up. But shout out, Mr. Logan, and keep it going.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. And thank you for the support as well. Keep wearing them shirts.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right. All right. Shout out to the caller. And I appreciate her wearing the shirts. That helps me out a whole lot. And I like that you getting the conversation started and whatnot. I got some of the shirts too, but I like my polo. That's like kind of like my thing. But if you see me in the airport or moving around, you see me wearing some of the shirts, but always the hats. And I got some more coming out. I'm going to do a come and take it with the, I'm going to do that in the hat and the shirt as well. So look out for that. And if you guys have any suggestions for shirts or hats or stickers need to do, you can always send it to me through my email, which is contact@anthonyblogan.com. And if you missed that email or you can't really remember, you can always go to my website. Everything's right there. My website's always on the header of my YouTube page, also on my social media links, and also in the description box. The website's always there. It's easy to remember, Anthony, B as in boy, Logan.com. If you search Anthony Brian Logan on YouTube, all that good stuff comes right on up. So I thank y'all for being here. We got super chats to read right quick before we get to the next call. Did I get everybody? Oh, no. Thank you to Doberman Pincher who says, sup, Nippin'. All right, Nippin' got a little Nippin' hive, little Nippin' fan base. And you guys, I think I talked about going to Amp Fest in Miami, Florida. And in case you guys have seen these flyers, I got one for myself just now. So check it out. Hold on. There we go. So they got the flyer for me, and I will be at Amp Fest Miami. This will be October the 10th through the 12th, and I will put a link for you guys to get tickets if you like in the description box below. And I'll also put a code to get 60% off your ticket if you cannot get the student rate. So this is going to be star-studded event. I mean, it's tons of people that's going to be there. Trump Jr., David Harris Jr., Wayne Dupree, Brandon Strock, Walkaway, everybody. Like, a lot of great people are going to be there. I'll be there. Am I going to speak? I don't know. It says speaking, but they've not told me that I'll be speaking. I'm just going to be there. I might get on the panel. I might say a word or two, but I'll definitely be there at Trump Doral in Miami, October the 10th through the 12th. That is me with the suit on. You'll see me there. If you're in South Florida, or you can come to South Florida that particular time, come on out. I'll also be, before that, in Washington, D.C. at the BLS. That's the Black Leadership Summit. And that'll be October the 3rd through the 5th from Turning Point USA. And then I'll be in Politicon October 26th and 27th of this year. That'll be in Nashville. I don't have any kind of special flyer for Politicon, but I will be there on the VIP ticket, so I'll be everywhere. If you guys are able to come to any of the events, please do so. Alrighty. So let me put a link for the Miami event in the description. Let me see. Oh, it won't let me do it. Okay, that's funny. Well, it won't let me do it. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna put the code in the description box because it won't let me put it in the chat for some reason. That's weird. I should be able to do that since I'm the administrator, but whatever. And I'm gonna put it right on top of the wooden flags link. And what am I gonna label it? I'll label it. This will be AmpFest. I'll label it AmpFest so you can get to it real easy. AMPFEST AmpFest. There we go. It's in the description box. All right. So let's go ahead and get to some more calls here. SOBC, you on the line. What's going on?
ABL.
What's happening? Can you hear me? I heard you say ABL, but then I couldn't. It says now you have a bad connection. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I'm back online. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you well.
Oh, great. Oh, man, that was a great caller. The previous caller, that was a great one. I enjoyed listening to her. And I'm looking forward to speaking in advance. The MP, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot of people there. My main thing, I want to be able to network with people and meet, people that may watch the channel or just anybody.
Right. Looking forward to that. And did you say you're going to be in DC soon? I'll definitely be there. To see you.
Yeah, I'll be at the Black Leadership Summit with Turning Point. Same thing we did last year, but that'll be from October the 3rd through the 5th.
Okay. Sounds good. I might swing by.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you wanna attend it, hey, it's open. It's only like $10. You can just sign up, and they allow adults there. So, like, I'm not like on the speaking thing or anything. I'm just an adult attendee. So, if you want to come through, we'll be at the Capitol Hilton that weekend. So we'll be around for sure.
Okay, sounds good. So, anyway, I just wanted to get into some of the topics today and some of the things that was said in the previous shows. I think there's a lady who called in about maybe 2-3 shows ago, maybe 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, and she talked about traveling around the country with a husband and, seeing how there are good people in this world and how the media's manipulating the narrative and trying to paint this picture of, just negativity and all this. Do you remember that call?
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah, but so I just wanted to kind of oppose what you're saying. Yes, there are some good people, but I think there's a lot of evil in this world. I mean, when you put people, they're going to, of course, they're going to act nice, because why? They're in public, they're being watched, but the real persona usually comes out when they're behind closed doors, when they're behind that computer or they're behind that phone, on Twitter, on YouTube, in the comment section. That's where you really see the real person. So I mean, I think, yeah, there's some good people, but there's a lot of evil in this world.
Yeah,
and I also liked your. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, but see, some of these people that, they talk a lot online, it's hard to tell how many of them will actually do that, what they say in life. A lot of them just kind of blow off steam, but have no real intention of doing anything beyond that.
Oh yes, I mean they don't have to do anything. I mean the fact that they're saying what they say is just evident enough that they're evil.
Yeah.
And I did like what you said after the call. I think there was another gentleman who called and he sounded a little pessimistic, and I kind of liked what you said, that you shouldn't let these things affect you. You should always look on the positive, optimistic, see things in a positive way, which is right, which is true, and I agree with you on that.
Right.
So a second point, do you listen to the Breakfast Club?
I do.
So there's this interview. I don't listen to them. There's this interview that went viral. This Malik Yoba something, with some trans man and a homosexual.
Yeah,
on the show.
I heard about that, and I tried to watch it, but I couldn't make it no more than 2 minutes. It was just too much stupid stuff going on. Like this dude talking about, yeah, I'm trans attracted. What does that mean? Are you gay or what? Like, just come out of the closet, man. I ain't trying to hear all this beating around the bush. And then it's all kind of rumors, like he was dealing with little boys, really, because you're talking about so-called trans. Like he wants to. I think what's happening here is he's being accused of being a pedophile, right? Because he's out here picking up 14-year-old boys dressed as women, and he wants to try to do the Kevin Spacey, talking about, I had sex with an underage boy, but I'm gay. That's pretty much what he's trying to say without saying it. And it's like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Save the excuses, sir. If you did what you did, own up to it and have that be that.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that part. But what really, I only made about 15, 20 minutes into it. It was just ridiculous as usual. But what really put a lot of hope in it, just made that situation positive for me, was the comment section. It was just amazing to see how much people were so against this. The comments were just bashing them. I mean, they were just like, this is mental illness. It was just amazing to see the amount of black people just opposing this.
It's encouraging, isn't it?
Right. I was like, nah, maybe there's a little hope in the black community.
Right.
There's a little hope, just a little. And that brings me to the next topic about racism. And you did talk about that race hoax. And I mean, it just proves my point, ABL. I know I talked to you about racism in a previous call, and I think racism doesn't exist. I'm with Jesse Lee Peterson here. It does not exist. It's just in people's minds, and people make up things. People see things that don't exist, and they call it racism. They call it bigotry. They call it bias, unconscious bias, whatever that means. Yeah. So I don't think racism exists, and that video definitely proved my point.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, because a lot of these people, they say they're victims of racism. They can't really point to an example, and when they do, it's a made up thing. So yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Exactly. Well, ABL, keep up the great work, and I'm looking forward to see. Hopefully, I'll see you October 3rd through the 5th, and just keep up the great work. We'll be here supporting.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care.
All right, same to you.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to my man SOBC for the call. And if you guys want to come on out to the Turning Point event, which would be in Washington, D.C., the Black Leadership Summit, that's going to be on Turning Point USA's website. I'll let them right there. I can't really find a link right now. I'm trying to do that, but it's on Turning Point USA's website to sign up if you want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, if you just want to come see some of us, we'll be around town in D.C. that weekend. So hopefully I get to see some or all of you guys at some of these events I'll be going to in the next few days and weeks. Back to Malik Yoba. People ask me in the chat, oh, what about Malik Yoba? Was he gay? Whatever. Okay, this is what I hear about Malik Yoba. Part of this is going to be rumor and speculation, things that have been known for a very long time about him in New York. The real New York undercover is Malik Yoba. He allegedly had been dealing with transsexual. Okay, these terms are kind of confusing. Transgender, quote unquote, women, which are just boys, not men, boys dressed as women. Okay, one of these people came out and said that they were 13 years old when they were dealing with Malik Yoba, and he was on TV doing whatever he was doing on New York Undercover. And then the person was like, how did he not know we were underage, is that, and the third. One thing about a lot of these transgenders is that they're also streetwalkers. I have a family member that is a streetwalker and dresses up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do. A lot of them are on drugs, and these guys like Malik Yoba go to this world because they feel like they can get away with what they're doing because the person is on drugs and they ain't gonna say nothing to nobody and anybody gonna believe them. That is the rumor, but it's been widely said in New York City for a long time. There were blog posts going back years talking about this, so it ain't nothing that just came out recently. This has been a thing that's been a rumor about him. Just recently this year, he came out and said that he is attracted to transgender women. So I'm like, all right, what does that mean? Now, I saw some of the Breakfast Club interview. He was kind of being vague. That's why I stopped watching it. It's like, look, man, I don't have time. Like, I'm a busy person. I don't have an hour and 15 minutes to sit here and just watch you filibuster. Get to the point. Do you like little boys or not? That's all I want to know. And if you do, you need to get locked up. Okay? If you don't, then all right, maybe we could try to prove you right, wrong, or whatever. But if you admit to it and people are saying that you did do it, then that means you did it. So if nothing else, he admitted to being attracted to transgender people, but he won't say that he's gay. It's like, all right, but if you like men, then it means you're gay if you're a man. As simple as that. I don't care if they got a RuPaul wig on. Let's make a difference. They're still a man. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But that's Hollywood for you, though. A lot of these people, they do stuff like that behind closed doors. You would never know until maybe somebody comes out and exposes them or they admit to their wrongdoings. That's kind of how these things actually operate. So, yeah, Malik Yoba, you would never know. And matter of fact, one of the guys, the co-star, the Puerto Rican guy, came out as gay some years back. So, you know, you never know what's going on in this world. It's crazy. All right. But let me get to my next call here. 573, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Retta from Missouri.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, it's a little off topic, but my thoughts were on healthcare, and from watching the debate, we can clearly see where the Democrats, stand on their goal, for the future. And I was wondering, as far as the conservative or Republican Party, what the long-term goal is for, the solution. I'm a single mother who's self-employed, and years ago, or, in Obama's second term, whenever the Obamacare was offered, I went to go sign up for healthcare, and, they told me that what was available privately was going to be $600 to $700 for myself, and I don't have any health concerns or anything like that. So she suggested for me to check into the subsidy, and I did. There were a lot of problems whenever I just inquired online. It set me up with a pass or an account, and I was just looking, wasn't making any commitment. And then whenever I called back, actually signed up for it, they said, oh, well, you already have, an account set up, but there was no password. So it was a big mess, but I ended up actually getting it. I had it for 4 months, made my payments on time, and never used it. And then I got a letter in the mail saying that they couldn't prove my income because I'm self-employed, which is what they went off of for my, subsidy for my taxes, and they dropped me. So,
wow.
So it's just been a real roller coaster. I mean, I totally take responsibility for my choices in life, and, I want to work hard and pay for things. But the only solution I found for myself so far is a concierge, where you pay per month for a private doctor, but it still doesn't cover a catastrophic event. So, that's really the only place in my life I'm stuck. I've been able to buy my first home and, moving up the ladder, feel good about myself. But, I'd like to know that if something happened, I wasn't going to pay for it for the rest of my life.
Well, see, they do have some insurance that is off market, like off the Obamacare or, the ACA market, that you can use for catastrophic. Now, it doesn't cover a lot of different things, and you may just use that as kind of like additional insurance. Well, how can I put this? You wouldn't just rely on that. It'll just be for catastrophic, because it won't cover a lot of different.
For catastrophic, yeah. And, a few years ago now that the, the penalty, was dropped, I looked into the catastrophic, but I was still going to have to pay the penalty because it didn't fall under, the Obamacare guidelines. So I thought, well, why am I going to pay this money, whenever I have to pay all this extra on my taxes anyway?
But see, now, now that's gone.
Right.
That's gone now, so you can do that without having the penalty.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing. I'm very happy, with President Trump for, fighting for this, because it made me so upset when they were having the debate between him and Hillary, and she was spouting off about how, all these people now have medical insurance. I couldn't afford it before, and all the checklist she was going down was me with my lower income and being a single, parent. And I just was looking at the television going, but I don't have it. I can't afford it. And you're supposed to be the champion for someone in my position, but it wasn't true.
Right.
So anyway, that's my thought. I guess my main thing was just figuring out what the platform was for the Republican Party, moving forward. I mean, I'm totally for paying for something, what it's worth, but to make it at least affordable for preventative things and to just stay healthy. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things that can be done. The main thing would be, opening it up to where everything does not have to be Obamacare compliant to be used. So you can, have some options, have some competition, and not have everything be controlled by the government, which is what the left wants to do. Just have to be more open. I think that should be the solution.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. No, that was me saying that I look like a 78-year-old crackhead with facial hair. That was me. I keep my face clean. No, that's something that's been in my family too. Everybody, all my family military, so they just shave their, that's just kind of how that works. I think I look better with the clean shave. If I was to grow this out, it'd be looking like, some people have the full beard and it's all nice, and I don't do that. I got the patches and looking like I've been on the bender. You understand what I'm saying? Like, my bed is a pile of rocks outside up under a bridge. You know what I'm talking about? So I try to keep myself nice and clean shaven. But let me get to some more calls before I wrap it on up. Put a nice bow on it. 469, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Kevin.
All righty, what's going on?
I just wanted to ask you, as far as Detroit and stuff that has been going on down there, what do you think the best way to that all that could have been avoided?
That's kind of a broad question. Like, you gotta be a little bit more specific for me.
Well, I mean, it seemed like the community kind of lost rank and file with what was going on in their government, to me. And just to be able to see, in the voting in your district, just be able to keep track of what's going on more often is, something basic that we can all really do, I think.
Okay, so is your question, why does Detroit look the way it does as far as from a voting point of view? Like they're voting for the wrong people and has them in their position, so why aren't they really more engaged in voting? Is that it?
Yeah, basically. I mean,
well, okay. I mean, I guess I can answer the question. I mean, the problem is just from a lack of education. People just don't know. They have no real idea about any politics, really. A lot of these kids are quote unquote graduating from high school. They can't even read. So if you graduate from high school, like you passing your classes and you might have been an okay student, but you can't even read. I think it might have been almost the majority of Detroit high school students graduate without the ability to read above a functionally literate level. Okay, third grade reading, it might be the best they get. So with that kind of with that kind of lack of education going on, how are they going to even know anything about voting? You have a select few people that are able to read and know what's going on, and then they'll put the same old people in power, and people that live in the city are just left to suffer because they don't have any information. Now, part of my job, what I've assigned myself with, is just spreading information to people in a way that's easy to pick up and understand. So it don't matter where you are. If you have any kind of internet connection, you got a phone, you can hear this information. Now everybody really wants to hear it, because if they've grown up their whole life thinking a certain way and they can't even process the information and they're open to it, then they're not going to hear it. But some people are. So I don't know what can really be done aside from that.
Can I put something into that?
Okay, go for it.
Instead of making a broad sweep and trying to make sure that every last person gets, educated to the nines, why not just continue to work with the gifted, make sure that the gifted get everything they need, and then the community can get a return from the gifted in that area.
But
just like you were talking about your church had the most educated person, and he was working with the community, and he was the only one that could really read and that sort of stuff. It only takes a couple of gifted people to bring everybody else up, doesn't it?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happens. It's the theory called brain drain. The gifted people will end up leaving. That's what happens. That's what I did. That's what everybody does. You leave. You're not going to be in the same rundown area of people that don't understand how to read and ignorant. You're the only smart person. And then that environment, aside from, like, if you focus all your energy on the gifted people, what's going to happen is you're going to go back to the same environment where everybody is not gifted and they can't read. That's going to be a big time burden on your back. And once you get to a point where you can leave, you're going to go. College time comes, you're going to be off on a scholarship, or you're going to be paying to go to a place. You're going to go far away from home. You may live in Detroit. You're going to go to West Virginia. You're going to go somewhere West Coast. You're going to leave and you won't come back. That's usually what happens. So I don't think we need to have regular everyday people educated to the nines, but at the same time, at least graduate people that can read. I mean, that shouldn't be asking too much. Just basic stuff. And also, here's one more thing. A lot of these courses that people have in regular school that are not doing as badly as Detroit, civics, world history, these things are good for regular schools, but for Detroit, it's kind of pointless. Put in practical skills, home ec,
yeah, Flint, Michigan with the water treatment.
Yes, stuff like that. Put it back in school so people can just have practical skills. So give them skills they can actually use when they get out there. If you can't read, what are you going to do with a class teaching American history? You're not going to use it at all. You're not going to even really be able to remember anything when the class is done. Get some practical skills and build from there. That'd be my solution.
Right. Every time I read about Flint, Michigan, I'm always hearing about, on some level, some diversity hire that just wasn't qualified. And, not that, trying to hire a diverse amount of people is wrong. It's just, I mean, when the pickings get slim in the first place for somebody who's qualified, then you're in trouble.
Correct. Exactly.
Well, I still don't know what they're going to do about it, though. But really,
well, hey, I mean, you could start right there and then figure out the rest, man. But hey, I got to wrap up here, so thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, keep talking to you, Joe.
All right, likewise.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller, and that will be the last call for the night. Perfect timing, right at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to all you guys for calling. I saw my man Amazing Lucas in the chat. Shout out to you, Lucas, man. I'll be seeing you. I know you coming to BLS, man. Don't say you not. I know you coming to BLS. I'll see you October the 3rd through the 5th in DC. You're going to be there. So shout out to you. And come to Politicon too if you can, man. That's going to be at the end of October. I know you got money, man, because you over there killing it with the views and the subs. So come to Politicon, fly on to Nashville, and have a good time, man. It's going to be good. And if you could do Ant Fest Miami, come to that too. But definitely BLS first and foremost. You got to come there. 100%. If you're gonna go to one event that I'll be at, you gotta come to BLS, man. Great time last time. We gotta do it again. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you. What's that? Star Carmen 1. I know butchered that, and I'm sorry. Who says good night? Love the show. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the show. And if you did, please give the video a thumbs up if you've not already. And if you are a first-time viewer, please subscribe. I appreciate you if you did that. And what else I got? Oh, shout out to the moderators. We got Bill from the Hills, Liza Jean, Ansel, Michelle A, T-Pain. All you guys do a great job all the time. I definitely appreciate you keeping them trolls up under check. I see you, Liza Jean. Thank you for being here. Amazing Lucas, shout out to you for the donation, man. He says ABL is a baller. Fly me out, my guy. Hey, man, look, that is a foul. You can't be asking the man to fly you out, sir. You can't be doing that, man. I know you got it. So come on out, man. I appreciate you for being here. I definitely do. And shout out to R. So 61 who says, did you see the National Review article that reported Trump's approval rating with black voters appears to be 18 to 34%? If you haven't, you should look it up. I have not seen that, but I don't doubt it. Because every single day I'm seeing more and more black supporters wearing the Trump hat, wearing the shirts. You know, they hit me up on my DMs. They come into the channel. They're saying, hey, man, watching you for a long time. I'm seeing it more and more and more and more. So what we're doing is working. Just by me being here, people can look at me and say, oh, I'm not alone. You know, I can be vocal like him. I can vote for whoever I want to vote for like he does. So that's what I'm here for. To be an example and to give some real information to everybody in the world. Don't care where you come from or what color you are. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. I will see y'all again on Wednesday. Saturday, I'll be in Virginia, so I won't be able to do the show. I might do something, but I can't do the live way I'm doing it right now. But Wednesday, I will be here. And after that, I'll be traveling and I'll have my equipment with me so I can do my show wherever I'm at. I'll do one when I'm in DC, one when I'm in Miami, and then I'll do one in Nashville. So you'll see me in different locations in October. And I got to do my video still promoting all my events I'll be at. I'm going to try to put it out tomorrow if I can. And in that video, you'll see links in the box. Click on those links independently because they are all affiliate links. But that's all I got. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.